Welcome to the Northwest Sports Fanatics YouTube channel. I am your host, Orion. I got a great show for you here today between the New York Mets versus the Seattle Mariners. First pitch is going to be here in roughly 5 minutes, so let's cue up the music, take a look at the thumb, and let's get into the starting lineups. Happy Tuesday, everyone. And on the thumb, on the left, one of the best left fielders in the game, Juan Soto. And on the right, a dual threat from the offense and the defense, our guy, Colt Emerson. Now let's get into the starting lineups here first for the visiting New York Mets. Leading off for the Mets in right field, Carson Bench. Batting second, playing shortstop for New York, Bo Bichette. Batting third, playing left field, Juan Soto. Batting cleanup, batting fourth, DHing tonight for the Mets, Jared Young. Batting fifth, playing first base for New York, Mark Vientos. Batting sixth, playing third base, Brett Beatty. Batting seventh, playing second base, Marcus Semien. Batting eighth, playing center field, A.J. Ewing. And batting ninth, catching today for New York, Hayden Sanger. And on the mound for the Mets with a 3-1 record and ERA of 1.86, it is Huáscar Brazoban. And now let's get into the starting lineups for your Seattle Mariners. Leading off for the Mariners at shortstop, J.B. Crawford. Batting second, playing center field, it's J-Rod Julio Rodriguez. Batting third, playing left field, Randy Arozarena. Batting cleanup, batting fourth, right fielder, Luke Raley. Batting fifth, playing second base, Colt Clutch Young. Batting sixth, DHing today for Seattle, the Italian stallion, Dominic Canzone. Batting seventh, playing first base, Patrick Wisdom. Batting eighth, catching today for Seattle, Johnny Pereda. And batting ninth, playing third base, Colt Emerson. And on the mound for the Mariners, one of our aces, 3-4 record, ERA of 3.69. It's Walter, a.k.a. Logan Gilbert. And we're going to be shooting for 100 likes, 100 on that dono train. And 5 to 15 subs. Let's get it, baby. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. And of course, today is Lou Gehrig Day. So everyone coming together to, kind of go over ALS and what it's about. And obviously with Lou Gehrig having, ALS and tragically had his life shortened from that disease. Obviously, we have the MLBtogether.com/4ALS for more information. '50th anniversary for the Seattle Mariners, 40 plus years on the radio. Riz is going out after this season and going into retirement. So every single stream for this season will be dedicated to the legend and the icon, Rick Riz. 7-game win streak for the Seattle Mariners, which is number one in the MLB right now. Out of all 30 teams, we're going for 8 in a row, and it's kind of magical that we're doing this without Cal Raleigh or Brendan Donovan. And speaking of those guys, as well as Josh Naylor, I'm going to give you a quick injury update here as well. Now, you're probably wondering why Patrick Wisdom is playing at first base, but after Josh Naylor hit the home run to tie the game 2-2 for us, he had back spasms, and that's why Wisdom came in for those last couple innings. He's day-to-day. They did say, Dan Wilson mentioning that if the game is close, there is a chance that Naylor could come in and pinch hit and come in later tonight if needed. But I assume they'll probably give him the full day off to kind of get the back right. And then for Cal Raleigh, he obviously is not set to come back yet, but he was in full gear, just like in this photo here, taking some pitches and again, definitely going, on the right path. So that's great to hear as well. Carlos Vargas, Miles Mastroboni, and Brendan Donovan are all due back tentatively around June 4th or June 5th. But as we know, with the IL and the injury report, it may end up being a little bit longer for guys like Donnie and Cal. We don't want to rush them. But again, we definitely miss them on the field and obviously in the dugout. Mike in the building, what's good? Power Code in the building, what's good? Daniel in the building, what's good? And we're just getting situated here and getting ready for first pitch. 32-29, 18-15 record at home for the Seattle Mariners. Feels good to be above 500 for only the second time this season. And then the Mets are 26-34, 11-19 on the road. And again, we just want to try to be able to get the dub here today with Logan Gilbert because we got George Kirby on the mound tomorrow. And even though we know Kirby has gotten roughed up in his last two starts, we definitely want to try to win the series. And if we can win the game today, that'll give us an opportunity to try to win our 9th game in a row tomorrow if we win today. And obviously getting back-to-back sweeps would be obviously ideal for us Mariner fans. All right, Logan Gilbert getting situated and getting ready here. And leadoff hitter for the Mets, right fielder Carson Bench. On deck is Bo Bichette, and batting third is Juan Soto. First pitch, takes a strike looking right down the middle. 96 miles an hour, 0-1 count. And we definitely have a hot one here in the Pacific Northwest, a lot of 80 and 90 degree temperatures. So again, just trying to do my best while I'm grinding it out here in the sauna. 0-1 pitch, fouled off behind the plate. Four-seam fastball, 97 miles an hour. No balls and 2 strikes to Carson Bench. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. 0-2 pitch, fouled off, low and away with the changeup, 83 miles an hour by Logan Gilbert. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Carson Bench. 1-2 pitch, fouled off, low and at the knees, slider 88 miles an hour. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Gilbert to Bench. Love in the building. What's good? Hawks and Rebecca in the building. Let's go. I definitely would love to see a triple sweep as well. And again, it just feels good that Cal's got the gear on and he's, taking some pitches. Still not ready yet, but obviously got some work in yesterday and today. And then obviously Naylor has back spasms, but he may be available later today or possibly tomorrow. He is day to day. 1-2 pitch, low and away. Splitter missing, 83 miles an hour there by Logan Gilbert. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Carson Bench. 2-2 pitch, fouled off right down the middle. Four-seam fastball, 97 miles an hour. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Gilbert to Bench. Yeah, it's almost 90 here, so it's a little bit hotter here in Oregon than a lot of places in Washington today. We had to do 2 walks, before 11 a.m. That shows you really how hot it was getting early on. And even by 11 a.m. here, we were already in the high 70s. So, usually with Paisley, I got to try to be able to get it a little bit cooler temperature-wise for her. Even when it hits 70, it gets a little uncomfortable for her. But hopefully we'll be able to go on a nice victory walk when the sun sets. Pitches low and away. Four-seam fastball there by Gilbert. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Carson Bench. 3-2 pitch. Popped up. Then foul territory and just goes into the crowd about 5 rows in. Count still as full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Gilbert to bench. Good to see you, Power Code. CDW in the building. What's good? Three-two pitch. Popped up and behind the plate, foul. 4-seam fastball, 96 miles an hour. Count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Gilbert to bench. I'm not sunburnt. I tan easily, so obviously I'm half European, half Asian. So, tanning is not a real big issue for me. All I need to do is just get a little bit of sun and, the tan just kind of happens naturally. 3-2 pitch. Big swing and a miss, and an awesome job on a grinded out at bat there for Logan Gilbert. 11 pitches. And normally that goes sideways, right? Once you start getting into pitch 8, 9, 10, a lot of times that hitter will finally find a way to break through. But great job there by Logan Gilbert on getting the punch out on Benj on a big swing and a miss. And that is 1 away, 1 up and 1 down. Great start. Next up in the 2-hole, the former Blue Jay shortstop, Bo Bichette. First pitch. High and inside with a 4-seam fastball, 97 miles an hour, 0-1 count. Oh, 1 pitch. And a hard hit ball into right field. Glaring sun. Wow. Incredible catch by Luke Raley. Are you kidding me? I mean, I don't think I've seen the sun that bright, in the outfield in Seattle all year. And, wow, unbelievable catch there by Luke Raley. I mean, that easily could have been a double or triple, especially if you end up losing it in the sun. Luckily, he's wearing the shades. And again, you're going to need them, for Randy, Julio, and Luke out there in the outfield for at least the first couple innings until maybe the sun shifts a little bit. But that could have definitely been disaster right out of the gates, especially if we would have walked Benj and then he ends up getting a double or triple. Bichette, we could already be down 1-0 right now. So great job bailing Logan Gilbert out. That is 2 up and 2 down. Great job, Luke. Next up in the 3-hole, left fielder Juan Soto. First pitch is low and away. 4-seam fastball, 96 miles an hour there by Logan Gilbert. 1-0 count. One-0 pitch, and Soto pops up into left. Randy is there, and that is as routine as it goes. 3 up and 3 down. Great start there for the Mariners. And let's go to the bottom of the first inning, and let's see if we can end up taking a early lead. And the Mariners have been not only the hottest team in baseball right now with a 7-game win streak, the second highest win streak, believe it or not, the Rangers with a 4-game win streak, but with the Seattle Mariners, 1.77 ERA with the pitching staff. Guess what that is in our winning streak? Number 1 in MLB. 0.83 in WHIP, number 1 in MLB. And a 5.10 opponent OPS, number 1 in MLB. So obviously we're getting the job done not only with the pitching staff, but also with the hitting and the defense. I love this team, and I'm glad we finally have turned the corner. Let's go to the bottom of the first inning, and let's get on the board. Leading off for the Mariners, shortstop J.P. Crawford. Batting second, center fielder, it's J-Rod, Julio Rodriguez. And batting third, left fielder, Randy Orosarena. Right ends up. Let's go M's. It's a hot one. And again, we don't have our air conditioning plugged in yet. We usually try to wait until a little bit later, to get that done. So it definitely is hot here. But again, we got to be able to grind it out. And there's going to be some hot days in summer where I'm grinding it out and calling these Mariner games, but it'll definitely be worth it. Let's go to the bottom of the first, 0-0 here early between the Mets and the Mariners. Shout out to our female audience that has been growing quite a bit within the last couple years. And shout out to all our new subs and all of the OGs and everyone watching in the United States, Canada, Mexico, South America, Asia, and beyond. I appreciate you very, very much. 22 subs to go, do 24,200. Angry in the building. What's good? And I got the All-Star game, cutoff tee here from when the Mariners held the All-Star game a few years ago. Just too hot, here. It's like, feels like 90 or 100 here in the studio. So a little too hot for me to be wearing a jersey today. First pitch is low and away, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, takes a strike looking. Right down the middle, sinker at 94 miles an hour, 1 ball and 1 strike from Brazoban to Crawford. 1-1 pitch, takes another strike looking down the middle, sinker at 95 miles an hour, 1 ball and 2 strikes to J.P. Crawford. 1-2 pitch, high and away, 2 balls and 2 strikes to J.P. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. 2-2 pitch, low and away. Count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to J.P. Crawford. 3-2 pitch. And there we go. We'll take a walk for J.P. Crawford. I like that. Great start here. Brazoban looking a little wild here early. And next up for the Mariners, center fielder, it's J-Rod, Julio Rodriguez. First pitch to Julio is low and away with the sinker, 1-0 count. .1-0 pitch with a laser towards third base and foul. And even if it's extremely hot in here, Paisley's in here as well. She knows it's hot, but she wants to keep Dad company, and hopefully she'll be our good luck charm here today. 1 ball and 1 strike from Brazoban to Julio. And a little dribbler towards first and foul. Let's go, J-Rod. Luckily, we're not going to have back-to-back crazy days temperature-wise. It's going to be a 20-degree drop-off tomorrow, so I'm definitely looking forward to that. I know Paisley is as well. .1-2 pitch, low and away with a changeup, 91 miles an hour, 2 balls and 2 strikes from Brazoban to Rodriguez. 2-2 pitch to Julio, low and away, wild pitch. But no time there for JP to get to second. Singer with some good defense there after that wild pitch from Brazoban. Count now is full, 3 balls and 2 strikes to Julio Rodriguez. 3-2 pitch, little dribbler, could be a double play, throw to first. And Julio runs it out. Good hustle there by Julio Rodriguez. I mean, again, if that's Julio earlier in the year, he probably just gives up on that play and just goes half speed, but runs hard to first and prevents the double play. Good job, Julio. Just a fielder's choice. Crawford out at second and Julio getting at first base just in the nick of time. Great job, Julio. Next up, in the 3-hole, left fielder, Randy Arozarena. On deck in the 4-hole, right fielder, Luke Raley. And first pitch by Randy, a little dribbler, toe tap on the bag. And that is 2 up and 2 down. Vientos with the defense there at first base, making the out. Next up, in the 4-hole, right fielder, Luke Raley. Let's go, Luke. See if we get a nuke out of Luke. Bottom of the first inning, runner at second, Julio Rodriguez with 2 outs. Let's see if Luke can end up getting an RBI or a home run to give us an early lead here. First pitch, fouled back behind the T-Mobile bricks and the Blue Moon sign. Back when I used to drink beer pretty heavily, that was one of my favorites. With a little bit of an orange peel. You don't usually find it too often at bars out here, in the Pacific Northwest. You kind of have to hunt for it, but when you can find it, it was top notch. 0-1 pitch, takes a strike looking low and at the knees, change up 91 miles an hour. No balls and 2 strikes from Brazoban to Rayleigh. 0-2 pitch, low and at the knees, 4-seam fastball, 98 miles an hour there by Brazoban. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Luke Rayleigh. Bottom of the first inning, runner at second with 2 outs. Julio Rodriguez, Luke Rayleigh in the box with that 1-2 count. 1-2 pitch from Brazoban, and that one bounces awkwardly and off a one-hopper. It ended up hitting Luke, but obviously, not going to be hit by pitch since it was off the second hop. But again, Brazoban a little wild out there. Kind of reminds me of Castillo and Mooney when they're just not feeling it. And hopefully Brazoban will continue to be wild and we'll be able to continue to hopefully get some runs early and often. 2-2 pitch, a little dribbler towards first and foul. Jack in the building. How are you? Becky is in the building. How are you? Rebecca is in the building. How are you? James is in the building. Jimbo, I see you. Tri-City's in the house. How are you? Bottom of the first inning, runner at second, Julio Rodriguez with 2 outs. Heat wave here in the Pacific Northwest, but we're still grinding. 2-2 pitch. Check swing. Did he go? He did not. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Brazoban to Rayleigh. Trident's up. Let's go M's. Looking for our 8th win in a row. And we have the number 1 win streak in the MLB right now with 7. Number 2 is the Rangers, believe it or not, with 4. 3-2 pitch. Hard hit ball by Luke Rayleigh towards first base. It's fair. Run, run, run. And just in time, great hustle there by Luke Rayleigh, but it looked like Brazoban just got to first right before Luke Rayleigh, and that is going to be out number 3. And again, I just want to be able to see guys hustle, so that way it rubs off on guys, like Julio and Randy and, a few of the others that may not run hard every single time like Luke Rayleigh. But we did see Julio run hard to first, and Randy's been getting better at it. And unfortunately, we aren't able to get anything there, but I do feel good about the chances of winning today. Not only the series, but to be able to get to 8 wins in a row. But we got to take it 1 inning at a time. End of the first inning, 0-0 here early between the Mets and the Mariners. Let's see who's up next here for New York. Next up for the Mets in the 4-hole, DHing today, Jared Young. Batting second in the 5-hole, first baseman Mark Vientos. And batting third in the 6-hole, third baseman Brett Beatty. Trident's up. Let's go M's. 22 subs away from 24,200. We're approaching 6 million views. Should be able to hit that in a few days, which is very exciting since we hit 5 million just a few months back. And let's see where we are on the likes so far. All right, looks like we're at 54. Good start. All right, we're at 54 likes, 46 to get to 100 for our first goal. We were able to break 300 yesterday, which was fantastic. And we're still looking for our first dono on our dono train. End of the first inning, 0-0 here between the Mets and the Mariners on Lou Gehrig Day. All day in the building. What's good, brother? First pitch here from Logan Gilbert to Jared Young. Slider taking a strike looking. 0-1 count. 306 batting average with 2 home runs and 4 ribbies, but he did have a home run against us yesterday, but hopefully that won't be the case here today. 0-1 pitch. Little dribbler. Goes behind him towards the Alaska Airlines sign in the T-Mobile bricks. No balls and 2 strikes from Gilbert to Young. Trident's up. Let's go M's. 0-2 pitch, low and at the knees with that splitter. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Gilbert to Young. One-two pitch. Just gets a little piece. Throw to first. Nice throw by Pareda. And we got Patrick Wisdom at first because Naylor, after he hit the home run last night, had back spasms. And that's why we saw Patrick Wisdom in the 8th and the 9th after Naylor tied the game up 2-2. If Naylor doesn't hit that home run, we lose. I think 100% we lose that game 2-1, more than likely. So, I don't like seeing Naylor with back spasms, but it seems like his back is still a little tight. But we may see him later this evening, pinch hit if we need him. But probably give him the day off would be the best case scenario if we want him possibly playing tomorrow. First pitch to Mark Vientos. Big swing and a miss, high and away. 0-1 count. Four-seam fastball, 96 miles an hour there by Logan Gilbert. Cal had the pads on and was taking pitches for the second day in a row. Still not, ready to come back yet, but one step at a time, one day at a time. 0-1 pitch, little dribbler. JP Crawford is there. A traditional throw to Wisdom, no sidearm, which I think a lot of the errors came from, and that is 2 up and 2 down. Good defense there by JP, and the less that we see a sidearm approach, the better chance that it won't be an error. Nice job there by JP Crawford. 2 up and 2 down. Down goes Jared Young. Down goes Mark Vientos. Next up in the 6th hole, third baseman Brett Beatty. First pitch to Beatty, big swing and a miss. Right down the middle with that four-seam fastball, 0-1 count. 95 miles an hour there by Logan Gilbert. And we not only need Gilbert to go 6-7 innings, we need Kirby to do it tomorrow. If we win today and we have any chance of sweeping, again, we can't have Kirby play like he has in his last 2 starts. He needs to turn it around. And popped up, and Randy is there, and that is 3 up and 3 down as Beatty flies out to left field. Good defense there by Randy Arosarena. All right, let's go to the bottom of the 2nd inning and see who's up next here for Seattle. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. Next up for the Mariners in the 5-hole, second baseman Cole Clutch Young, the hero last night with another walk-off win under his belt. I love me some Cole Clutch Young. Batting second in the 6th hole, DHing the Italian stallion Dominic Canzone. And batting third in the 7th hole, at first base, filling in for Josh Naylor today, Patrick Wisdom. And on the mound for the Mets, with a 3-1 record, ERA of 1.86, it is Huáscar Brazoban. And luckily, he's a righty, so that way we have our strong lefty lineup in. And again, we have been able to see quite a few righties lately. And again, we got the sweep against the Athletics, the sweep against the Diamondbacks. And, the more righties we face, the better that we are. But with that being said, we have started to hit left-handed starters and bullpen pitchers a little bit better as of late. Try to ends up. Let's go, M's. Going to the bottom of the 2nd inning, 0-0 here early between the Mets and the Mariners. Gained another sub since the last commercial break. Appreciate you. $21 subs to go to 24,200. Got a heat wave here in the Pacific Northwest, about 90 here today. So it feels like 100 here in the studio, but I'm still grinding. Looks like we're off to a good start. 71 likes so far. 29 to 100. Lauren in the building. How are you? First pitch there from Brazoban to Cole Young is a ball. 1-0 count. Change up low and at the knees, 90 miles an hour there by Brazoban. 1-0 pitch, high and away. Sinker at 94 miles an hour, missing there by Brazoban. 2 balls and no strikes to Cole Clutch Young. 2-0 pitch, little dribbler up the middle. Right back to the pitcher, flip to Vientos, and that is 1 up and 1 down. Next up in the 6th hole, DHing Dominic Canzone. On deck is Patrick Wisdom. So yesterday they had their starter only go an inning, and then we ended up, having a replacement, and it looks like they may end up going with that same strategy. I'm not really, sure, if that's the right way to go, but it is the New York Mets, so we'll see, but again, we'll see when they end up making the substitution. This might be the last inning from Brazoban, but obviously it didn't affect us one bit, and, we found a way to get the dub yesterday. 0-1 pitch. And Dominic Canzone gets it right past the second baseman. I love that. And it ends up wiggling through into right field. Nice job there by Dominic Canzone. Great job getting that ball past Marcus Semien. Semien almost got a glove on it, but just out of reach. And a nice job there by Dominic Canzone, who's starting to heat up as of late. Nice single there by Dom, the Italian stallion. Next up in the 7th hole, first baseman Patrick Wisdom. On deck is Johnny Pareda. And again, we don't expect anything out of Wisdom or Pareda, but if we can get one hit each and maybe get them walked once each, unless they're able to get 2 singles or, something of that nature by themselves, if they get 4 or 5 at-bats, if we just get anything out of them, it would be fantastic. First pitch is a strike looking down the middle, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, big swing and a miss with the changeup, 92 miles an hour, low and away. No balls and 2 strikes with a runner at first. Dominic Canzone with 1 out, bottom of the 2nd inning. 0-0 here early between the Mets and the Mariners. 32-29, 18-15 at home for the Mariners. 3 games above 500 with a 7-game win streak. Number 1 in MLB right now. 0-2 pitch. And Wisdom crushes it. Deep left field. Back. Gone! And you ask, you shall receive. We don't expect anything, and you give us everything. Patrick Wisdom, 2-run jack. Let's fucking go. 429 feet with Canzone on board. And again, sometimes it's the guys that are least likely to be heroes that end up stepping up in the biggest way. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. 2-0 Seattle. Let's go. Attaboy, Pat, filling in for Josh Naylor and doing it with some finesse and some style, baby. Next up is Johnny Pareda. First pitch is high and away with a sinker, 97 miles an hour, 1-0 count. Man, this team is rolling right now. Pitching, hitting, defense, you name it. Line drive there by Pareda. And did he catch that? And it looks like Beatty ended up getting that line drive. What defense that we're seeing here early on by both teams. Unbelievable. Luke Raley with that catch with the sun in his eyes. And then a nice, line drive there by Beatty at third. But Patrick Wisdom, again, he was actually doing pretty well, for the Tacoma Rainiers when we called him up, with all these other injuries to Cal and Donnie and a few of the others. But again, it's always great when we can get, something a little unexpected. Hell, we would have been fine with a single, or a double out of Wisdom, but getting a home run, that's exactly what we needed. Set the tone early and often. Next up is Colt Emerson. First pitch takes a strike looking with the sinker, 97 miles an hour, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, big swing and a miss right down the middle. No balls and 2 strikes to Colt Emerson. 0-2 pitch, hard hit ball, and it goes to deep right field. Run, Colt, run! And Colt is hustling, hustle, and head first slide, safe with a double. Way to bring the electricity, Colt Emerson. And you're really starting to see, how much talent, that Colt Emerson and Cole Young truly have, and again, we've been talking about this, on the channel, for years, for this moment, to be able to see these young guns finally get called up and help us win. And, with injuries, sometimes that's an opening that you can take advantage of. And again, great job there by Colt Emerson. And again, we love Cal Raleigh. We love Brandon Donovan, but with those injuries, it definitely opened up the game a little bit for Seattle, and now we're going to have a pitching change, just like we did yesterday, except Brazoban is going to go not the full 2 innings, but again, we will see how this next pitcher does, and hopefully we'll be able to rough him up as well. Next up will be J.P. Crawford. Great start here for the Mariners. And again, it's always about getting started early and often. Bottom of the second inning, 2-0 Seattle. On June 2nd, 2026, which is Lou Gehrig Day. Let's go, baby. Tong is coming in for the Mets. Let's see if I can find a Jonah Tong photo quick enough here. And for all the heartache and the heartbreak that we had to go through, until we got to this point, it's all worth it, and again, things went sideways for us more than once, right? It was almost like an everyday occurrence, especially early on, when we were the worst hitting team in baseball, which was not something any Mariner fan saw coming, on top of injuries, poor play out of Gilbert, Castillo, and Mooney, on top of suspect managing out of Dan Wilson. But now, even with no Cal, no Donnie, we're still finding ways to get the job done. They will be back soon, as well as Miles Mastroboni being a part-time player, as well as Carlos Vargas, coming into the fold in the bullpen. Obviously, he wasn't very good last year, but hopefully he'll help us and be a positive rather than a negative. First pitch from Jonah Tong to J.P. Crawford, fouls it off towards left field, 0-1 count. Pup is good. Had to give her, medication because I had to go to the vet yesterday and whatnot. So, get a little bit of peanut butter and give her that anti-itch pill. So that way that she doesn't have any more issues with allergies and whatnot. Never really had allergies in her life before, but, she's doing good. We had to go on 2 walks before 11 a.m. because obviously it's like 90 here today. So obviously very, very hot. But again, things are good. Vibes are high. And Paisley is doing very, very well. And we're hoping to go on a victory walk after this game is over and the sun sets. 0-2 pitch coming in here from Tong to Crawford. 0-2 pitch right down the middle, and that is strike 3 looking. Awkward that JP didn't swing there. Fouled off the first 2 pitches and maybe thought that, third pitch would be a ball. But, again, that is out number 3, but not after Patrick Wisdom gets the party started. And again, we love when we can get people that are unexpected heroes to step up. And it's just kind of ironic because right before he hit it, we were mentioning that, anything that we would get out of Wisdom, 1 hit, maybe a walk, same thing with Johnny Pareda would be just, bliss. And we end up getting something even greater, a 2-run jack with Dominic Canzone on board. And now we have a 2-0 lead. Great job. End of the second inning, 2-0 Mariners. Reflect in the building. What's good, brother? Let's go to the top of the third inning. We're in the 7 hole. Second baseman, Marcus Semien. Batting second in the 8 hole, center fielder, A.J. Ewing. And batting third in the 9 hole, catcher, Hayden Sanger. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. 21 subs to go to 24,200. Still looking for our first dono on our dono train. And let's see how close we are to 100 likes here so far with 239 in the room. Looks like we're at 86. We're almost there. $14 to get to 100, and we hit over 300 likes yesterday. So we're definitely trending in the right direction here on Lou Gehrig Day. Mando in the building. What's good? Yeah, I'm not too sure if that is it. I assume that's it because it's not, based off, like fleas, which is one, fleas and mites. Usually that's one, and then food. But she doesn't eat, anything like chicken and other things that could end up having an allergy. So I'm pretty much thinking it's like dust and pollen and things of that nature. So first pitch from Gilbert to Simeon, big swing and a miss, high and inside, 0-1 count. But having to go to the vet, 3 times in roughly a month, that is not cheap. The first 2 visits, it almost cost me close to $700. So, and then the medication, they only originally gave me 10 pills for the anti-itch, and that wasn't enough since the drops that they gave her when I took her the second time were supposed to last a month. So it probably would have been smarter to give me 20 or 30 pills rather than just giving me 10 and having to call back, after the pills ran out and she started scratching again. But it is what it is. 0-2 pitch, low and away. Splitter missing there by Logan Gilbert. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Marcus Simeon. 1-2 pitch, big swing and a miss. There we go. I like that, baby. I love it. I love it. Patrick Wisdom doing the business. Coffee newbie in the building from Taiwan. Hard hit ball there into right field. Get it, Luke. And a strong throw there by Luke Raley in right field. Good to see the sun is finally not in everyone's eyes, but a great base knock there. A double, stand-up double by A.J. Ewing. No relation to Patrick. Ewing, not very common name, especially also being in New York there. Next up is Hayden Singer. Too hot for Paisley in here. Feels like it's like 100 in here. First pitch is low and away to Singer, 1-0 count. Reflect with a tenner. Thank you so much. Every dollar counts, and that'll help go towards all those vet visits, as well as the medication as well. We're at 10 on the Dono train, 90 to go. 1-0 pitch. Big swing and a miss, high and inside. Four-seam fastball, 96 miles an hour. 1 ball and 1 strike from Gilbert to Singer. Yeah, even for, just 20 anti-itch, pills, it was like $55. It's a lot of money, but again, she's worth it. And I want to make sure that she's, comfortable and happy. And, I just didn't plan on going to the vet 3 times in roughly a month. And, hopefully we won't have to go anymore, but we will see. 1 ball and 1 strike with a runner at second, Ewing, with Singer in the box. 1-1 pitch, big swing and a miss with the slider high and inside. 86 miles an hour there by Gilbert. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Gilbert to Singer. One-two pitch, low and away. Slider missing there by a few inches. 86 miles an hour, 2 balls and 2 strikes from Gilbert to Singer. She might make an appearance. She's hot right now. She's just laying down, trying to keep cool and whatnot the best that we can. And we don't have our AC plugged in, so it's just fans and whatnot, since we're only having this like one random day of 90, and then tomorrow it's going to be like 20 degrees cooler. So sometimes you just got to tough it out until we get into the warmer weather, and then the ACs will be plugged in. But it definitely makes it a little bit more difficult, calling a game when you're roasting, with 100-degree temperatures, feeling like you're, calling a game in a sauna. 3-2 pitch, big swing and a miss. Great job there by Logan Gilbert, and that is 2 up and 2 down. And that's exactly what we want to see, and hopefully that'll rub off on George Kirby tomorrow. Way to bring that electricity, Logan Gilbert. Next up for the Mets, leadoff hitter, right fielder Carson Bench. First pitch with the four-seam fastball. 1-0 count. I'll have to turn a fan on here in a second or two. Tried to do the best I could without a fan, but 3 innings in, it's not miserable, but it's hot. 1-0 pitch, hard hit ball, deep right field, back, and gone. And just like that, Carson Bench ties the game up, and we are knotted up at 2. And this is kind of a similar story to yesterday, right? We had 2 home runs, both solo dingers. They had 2 home runs, solo dingers. And this time around, 2-run jack by the Mariners, 2-run jack by the Mets. I mean, you couldn't even script this, any better way than what we're getting in these first 2 games. What we do, they think they can do better. But again, we're not done hitting home runs, and hopefully they will be. Big homer to right center, 394 feet, and hopefully that'll be the last home run Logan gives up, because we don't want Logan to give up any more than 2 runs. 3 at the most, but we feel very comfortable when it ends up being 2 or less. But when you get a 2-run jack, I know it didn't feel good for Mets fans with Wisdom doing it to them, and they gave us a little piece of our own medicine there with Bench, the leadoff hitter, with Ewing on board. Now we're knotted up at 2. First pitch in there to Bo Bichette. Big swing and a miss. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, low and away with a 4-seam fastball. 1 ball and 1 strike to Bo Bichette. Come on, Logan. One pitch, big swing and a miss, low and away. Curveball, 82 miles an hour there by Logan Gilbert. 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and 2 outs. Top of the 3rd inning, we're knotted up at 2. 2-run jacks. 1 by Patrick Wisdom with Canzone on board to give us a 2-0 lead in the 2nd. And then Bench hitting 1 to right center with Ewing on board, 394 feet, and we're knotted up at 2. 1-2 pitch, low and at the knees. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Gilbert to Bichette. 2-2 pitch, low and at the knees. And did that hit him? And Bichette to first. And now we have a mound visit here with Pareda and Gilbert. Look at the Supermo again. Yeah, got him right on the knee. Bichette hit by a pitch, and hopefully that'll be the only pitch, that Logan ends up plunking anybody. And obviously when you're on your 3rd string catcher, the rapport isn't going to be the same as it was for Logan Gilbert with Cal Raleigh, or even Mitch Garver for that matter. But you got to get on the same page, and Garver and Pareda have done pretty good, with all things considered, since Cal has been out. But again, just wanting to make sure they're on the same page, here against the Mets. Next up is Juan Soto. 296 average, 13 homers, and 29 ribbies. Future Hall of Famer Juan Soto. First pitch to Soto. Slider down the middle, 86 miles an hour, 0-1 count. Shout out to Reflect getting us started with our $10 dono. Oh, I got to flip it here. I got to refresh it. Give me a second here. Sometimes ESPN does that, so let me refresh the page here. Sometimes when you end up getting, some kind of challenge or whatnot, or ABS, then sometimes things end up going that route. I might have to open up another page here. Give me a second. All right, there we go. Let's see if it refreshes. 1-2 pitch. Big swing and a miss, and down goes Soto. And again, beautiful splitter there by Logan Gilbert. And that is out number 3, but not after they end up getting that big blast. And let me see if I can adjust a few things here. All right, let's go to the bottom of the third inning and see who's up next here for the Mariners. And hopefully we'll be able to retake the lead. And I think things are good to go now. I got like 5 different screens that I'm looking at while I'm calling the game. Not just the game itself, but stat pages, you guys, and everything else. So, all right, 21 subs to go to 24,200. We're at 10 on the Dono train. Shout out to Reflect, our MVP early on. 90 to go there. And we got 246 in the room. And let's see where we're at on the likes. We're at 107. Good start. 93 to 200. Next up for the Mariners, here in the bottom of the third inning, 0 for 1 center fielder Julio Rodriguez. Batting second, 0 for 1 left fielder Randy Orosarena. And batting third in the 4-hole, 0 for 1 right fielder Luke Raley. Tridents up, let's go M's. 50th anniversary for the Seattle Mariners, 40 plus years on the radio for this legend and icon, and every single stream will be dedicated to him, Rick Riz. Tridents up, let's go M's, and we'll see if we can get our 8th win in a row here on Lou Gehrig Day. Let's go, baby. Bottom of the third inning, we're knotted up at 2, and I'm not really necessarily too worried, about Gilbert giving up the home run. I mean, it's baseball. Starters are usually going to give up, typically 1 to 3 runs, even if you're a good pitcher. Every once in a while, you get lucky and you get a shutout or you only give up 1. But, with the quality of bats that they have, it's a pretty safe bet that they're not going to be at 0 in too many games. So, first pitch is high and away with a cutter, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, big swing and a miss there by Julio, high and away. 1 ball and 1 strike from Jonah Tong to Julio Rodriguez. One pitch, high and away. 2 balls and 1 strike to Julio Rodriguez. 2-1 pitch, fouled off, high and away. 4-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour there by Jonah Tong. 2 balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and no outs. Bottom of the third inning, and we're knotted up at 2. 2-2 pitch to Julio. Good patience there. If that was Julio maybe last year or even early in the first 10 games, that probably would have been strike 3. But good patience there out of Julio, and this is the most patient, mature, Julio Rodriguez that we've seen in the box in his career, and hopefully this will be a sign of things to come for the rest of his career. 3-2 pitch, hard hit ball, laser into left field, but foul. Change up 89 miles an hour there by Jonah Tong. Three-two pitch, just gets a piece. 4-seam fastball, 97 miles an hour. Count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Jonah Tong to Julio Rodriguez. Come on, Julio. 3-2 pitch, and that is strike 3 looking. Great pitch there from Jonah Tong, and down goes Julio Rodriguez. Almost in the same way with JP, just, taking that last pitch and just looking. And kind of a weird strategy for the Mets, having their starter only pitch 1 or 2 innings in game 1 and game 2, and I'm curious if they'll do it tomorrow as well. Next up for Jonah Tong in the 3-hole today, left fielder Randy Orosarena, our most consistent hitter from the beginning of the season until now. First pitch is high and away with a 4-seam fastball, 97 miles an hour, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch. High and away. 2 balls and no strikes to Randy Arozarena. Four-seam fastball, 96 miles an hour, missing by Tong. Shout out to our female audience, as well as all of our new subs and our OGs. Shout out to everyone watching in the United States, Canada, Mexico, South America, Asia, and beyond. 2-0 pitch, fouled off with a kind of a check swing, and it goes towards first base and out of play. 2 balls and 1 strike with nobody on and 1 out. Bottom of the third inning, we're tied at 2. 2-1 pitch, takes a strike right down the middle. Four-seam fastball, 97 miles an hour. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Randy Arozarena. Two pitch. And a little line drive. Well, he dropped it. Throw to first. And then high throw. Go, Randy, go. And Randy being nonchalant, and not running hard almost cost him. And again, he's lucky, that not only the ball was dropped on the line drive there, by Simeon, but he ended up having a throw that was high. And if the throw was spot on, Randy gave up, running towards first base. And I guess I just want players to be like Luke Raley, and just, hustle every single play. You just never know. It looked like he caught it. He ended up coming down. He dropped it and then ended up giving up on that play. And then luckily the throw was high because you can't even see Randy in the frame. He's not even 5 steps away from first base. And then he ends up getting, a double out of it based off an error and a little bit of luck, But again, these are the situations that I really want the Mariner players to look at because, if we want to be able to go to a World Series and win it all, you need everyone to hustle, not take plays off or, just jog and just give up thinking that you're out, even if it looks like you're 99.9% out, every once in a while, an error or a high throw can happen or a drop. Next up is Luke Raley. Let's see if we can get Randy home from second base to take the lead. First pitch is low and at the knees, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, hard hit ball. There we go. Fair ball. Go, go, go. Run, Randy. And Randy is coming home. And a very kind of slow progression there by the Mets. And there we go. Luke Raley with the RBI, 3-2 Mariners. There we go, baby. Nice job there by Randy Arozarena. And again, sometimes, mistakes, as we know, it's happened to us too. Sometimes when it rains, it pours, right? When things are going great like they are for us right now, it's not like it's been like this all season for us. We've been patiently waiting, to finally get a good win streak going, and we've actually done better than expected. And again, with mistakes, it goes the same way. Uncle Mo with the momentum can go in your favor and it can go against you. Once you make one error, sometimes another is going to shortly follow after, that particular play. 1-0 pitch, big swing and a miss by Cole Clutch Young, who had the game-winning RBI yesterday. And we love Cole Clutch Young. Let's go, Cole. One pitch, high and inside from Jonah Tong to Cole Young. 2 balls and 1 strike with a runner at second with 1 out. Bottom of the third, 3-2 Seattle. Tridents up. Let's go, M's. Two 1 pitch and fouls it off himself towards first base. Out of play. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Cole Clutch Young. Two pitch, low and at the knees. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Tong to Young. RBI leaders, as you can see, Raley top of the board, but Young and Rodriguez only 1 behind. 31, 30, and 30. 31 for Raley, 30 and 30 for Young and Julio. Pitch fouled off behind the plate. Count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Cole Clutch Young. 3-2 pitch. And a hard hit ball towards third base and out of play. Count still is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Tong DeYoung. Yeah, and we're definitely in good hands, with the youth movement. With the rookies that we have this year, it's one of the best rookie classes the MLB has seen league-wide in about maybe 15 years. It's an incredible, list of amazing talent all across the board. 3-2 pitch popped up in foul territory, and that is 2 up and 2 down. And next up in the 6th hole, DHing Dominic Canzone. And after we have George Kirby, obviously on the mound tomorrow, the next series will be on the road, I believe, against the Tigers. And the Tigers have not really played very good ball. They've had one of the worst records, I believe the worst record out of all teams in May. And obviously with Skubal out, they haven't been able to recover. And it definitely has gone in the wrong direction for that Detroit Tiger team. And hopefully we'll be able to take advantage. First pitch is low and away with the changeup, 86 miles an hour, 1-0 count. Jonah Tong on the mound, Dominic Canzone, the Italian stallion, in the box. One-0 pitch in there for a strike with a curveball, 78 miles an hour there by Tong. 1 ball and 1 strike to Dominic Canzone. One pitch, big swing and a miss. Canzone was going for the moon there. Change up 85 miles an hour right down the middle. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Tong to Canzone. Well, we're 2.5 games up, which is great, right? We have an above 500 record, which is great. And again, Cal Raleigh, Brandon Donovan, Carlos Vargas, and Miles Mastrobuoni are all shortly due back, we assume. Popped up into right field, and that is out number 3. We leave 1 stranded. But again, we do end up taking the lead. Great job there by Luke Raley getting the job done. Randy Arosarena scores on the error. Raley safe at first with the fielding error by Vientos, and Raley safe at second with that error as well. End of the 3rd inning, 3-2 Seattle. Let's go to the top of the 4th and see who's up next here for the Mets. Top of the 4th inning. Next up, 0 for 1 with a K. DHing today, Jared Young in the 4 hole. Batting second, 0 for 1, first baseman in the 5 hole, Mark Vientos. And in the 6 hole, batting third, 0 for 1, third baseman, Brett Beatty. Trident's up. Let's go M's. 21 subs to go to 24,200. We are approaching 6 million views on the channel. We should hit that in a few days, which is exciting. We're at 10 on the dono train because of Reflect, 90 to go. And we got 312 in the room, and let's see where we're at and how close we are to 200 on the likes. Looks like we're at 128. $72 to $200. Trident's up. Let's go M's. Wisdom, homer to left center, 429 feet with Canzone on board, 2-0 Mariners. Benj homers to right in the 3rd with Ewing on board, 2-2. And then, like I mentioned, Randy scores on the error, making it 3-2 here in the 4th inning. And it looks like everything is up to speed as far as ESPN is concerned. Again, I have noticed at times as that first pitch is a strike in there from Gilbert to Young, 0-1 count, when there usually is like an ABS challenge or, where they call, that out, and then they have that, kind of review process. Sometimes things don't get refreshed automatically. So if anything like that ends up happening, just give me a holler and then I'll hit the refresh. And if it ends up getting stuck, I'll just open up another page and we'll be good to go. 0-1 pitch. Big swing and a miss, low and away. No balls and 2 strikes from Gilbert to Young. 0-2 pitch, low and away with a splitter, 83 miles an hour, 1 ball and 2 strikes from Gilbert to Young. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. One-two pitch. And fouls that one off, out of play in right field. Slider 85 miles an hour, 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and no outs. Top of the 4th, 3-2 Seattle. Big swing and a miss, low and away. Nasty splitter there by Logan Gilbert. I like that. 82 miles an hour. That is 1 up and 1 down. And even though he had 1 bad pitch that gave up the 2-run jack, overall, Logan has looked pretty good. And again, hopefully we can end up, getting this victory. And we need Logan Gilbert to hopefully, have some good vibes that can rub off on Kirby, because Kirby hasn't looked good in his last 2 starts, and that who is pitches for the Mariners tomorrow. And I believe it's going to be an early afternoon game around noon. So hopefully Kirby will be able to bring it early and often. First pitch from Gilbert to Vientos, low and away. 87 mile an hour slider missing, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, and that one gets fouled back into the ump, and Pareda turns around immediately to check on him. And I love that, because again, catchers and umps, they don't necessarily have to be friends, but they look out for each other, because anytime you end up getting a ball that gets deflected, off a bat, and it ends up hitting the catcher, or the ump, they may not have padding there, so it can really be a serious injury. And I love Pareda immediately turning around to take a quick look at the ump, knowing that, it didn't hit him, but he heard it. And now they're going to have a little bit of a visit by the rest of the other umps and the medical staff. And I hope he's okay. Most home plate umps are pretty tough. But they got the other 3 umps and the medical staff nearby, so hopefully he's okay. He's shaking his head. And they're trying to go over all of the tests to make sure he's all right here on Lou Gehrig Day. Top of the 4th inning, 3-2 Mariners. And is he going to stay? Oh, what a tough SOB. Looks like he's going to stay. Prayers up to him. And again, a lot of times in the past, umps would be our enemies, because again, they would not call the game fairly, and they would hold grudges against certain players, and, strike zones would be different for different guys. But with the ABS, you definitely have seen a better relationship, I think, with umps and managers and players. Are things going to get heated still once in a while, and guys are going to get tossed? Of course, but again, it definitely is more of a mutual respect thing. And again, now, the umps have to be held accountable, so they can't really hold grudges or, call a game the way they want to. And that's better for baseball as well. 1-0 pitch. Fouled off. 1 ball and 1 strike to Mark Vientos. And that next pitch, high and inside, 4-seam fastball, 94 miles an hour. 2 balls and 1 strike to Mark Vientos. Two-one pitch, takes a strike swinging, high and inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Gilbert to Vientos. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. We got a heat wave here in Oregon, 90 today. But thankfully, it'll be 20 degrees cooler tomorrow, and that is going to be much better for me, as well as everyone living here. 2-2 pitch, low and away, splitter missing there by maybe a half inch. Count now is full, 3 balls and 2 strikes from Gilbert to Vientos. 3-2 pitch, tries to jam him and popped him up. Vientos slams his bat on the ground due to frustration. JP is there, and that is 2 up and 2 down. Good pitch there by Gilbert. Good defense there by J.P. Crawford. Vientos flies out to JP. Next up in the 6th hole, third baseman 0 for 1, Brett Beatty. First pitch from Gilbert to Beatty. High and away with the 4-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour, 1-0 count. Top of the 4th inning, 3-2 lead for Seattle with nobody on and 2 outs. Gilbert on the mound, Beatty in the box. 1-0 pitch to Beatty. Low and at the knees, 4-seam fastball getting away from Gilbert there. 2 balls and no strikes to Brett Beatty. And Gilbert hasn't had a meltdown yet. You know, he did give up a 2-run jack, but overall, besides that one pitch down the middle that ended up going yard, he has pitched a good game. 2-0 pitch, high and inside. 4-seam fastball missing again. 3 balls and no strikes from Gilbert to Beatty. 2 errors for the Mets in this game. Thankfully, that's not us. You know, we definitely had games where we had 2 or 3. Feels good that we feel like we've gone past that, you know, particular moment with this team. 3-0 pitch, 4-seam fastball, finally gets into the strike zone and paints the corner. Count now is 3 balls and 1 strike from Gilbert to Beatty. And kind of interesting that he would go with 4 straight 4-seam fastballs. I don't know if that's Pareda calling it or Gilbert, but 3-1 pitch. And that ends up getting chopped into left field, out of play. 5 straight 4-seam fastballs here from Gilbert. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Gilbert to Beatty. Come on, Logan. 3-2 pitch to Beatty. Popped him up. And will it stay in play? No, it will not. Out of play. Count still full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Gilbert to Beatty. 4-seam fastball, 94 or 95 miles an hour on all of these pitches so far. And hopefully we can end up mixing it up with, you know, curveball or slider to fool Beatty, and we can get this last out. I mean, unless he's able to do it with all 4-seam fastballs, all 7 pitches. 3-2 pitch, and that is strike 3 looking. There we go. Paints the corner, and another 4-seam fastball. I don't think I've seen that from Gilbert all year. 7 straight 4-seam fastballs, and it took a while, but he ended up getting the K. Nice job there by Logan Gilbert. Let's go to the bottom of the 4th inning and see who's up next here for the Mariners. Next up for the Mariners, 1 for 1 with a run and 2 RBIs. One of the heroes so far with a 2-run jack with Dom on board early on in the game in the 2nd inning, Patrick Wisdom. Let's see if he can do it again. Batting second, 0 for 1, catcher Johnny Pareda. Even him getting 1 hit would be a success, you know, considering he's the weak link in the lineup with Wisdom. But Wisdom stepped up. Let's see if Pareda can as well. And batting third, 1 for 1, third baseman, our phenom, Colt Emerson. Trident's up. Let's go, Ems. Let's look at the stat line for both pitchers here quickly. 4 innings pitched, 2 hits, 2 earned runs, no walks, 7 Ks, 63 pitches, 42 strikes. ERA is 3.73. Good job, Logan. And then with, obviously, Brazoban, he only lasted 1.2 innings, and he had 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, no Ks, 33 pitches, 20 strikes with a 2.35 ERA, and came into the game with a 3-1 record with an ERA of 1.86. So I'm not really sure why they substitute Brazoban out like they did yesterday, but, you know, that's their strategy. And then Jonah Tong, 1.1 inning pitched, no hits, no earned runs, no walks, 2 Ks, 30 pitches, 20 strikes. His ERA is 0. So interesting strategy, you know, having both of their pitchers exit within the first 2 innings. Now, we've had that happen to us in the past, like when we played the Astros, but that was because we put up like 4 or 5 runs, you know, on that pitcher, and then they had to get Imai out of the game and whatnot. But we haven't really seen pitchers get substituted out, you know, just based on innings and pitches, you know, whether they did good or bad. It just, you know, looked like they were just getting their reps in and whatnot. So First pitch to Patrick Wisdom is high and inside there from Tong. 1-0 count. One-0 pitch, high and away. Four-seam fastball missing by Tong there again. 2 balls and no strikes to Patrick Wisdom. 2-0 pitch from Tong, high and away. And I wouldn't mind Tong having a meltdown. 3 balls and no strikes from Tong to Wisdom. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. 3-0 pitch. Right down the middle for a strike. Four-seam fastball finally landing there from Jonah Tong. 94 miles an hour. 3 balls and 1 strike with nobody on and no outs. Bottom of the 4th inning. Mariners up by a run, 3-2. Both teams with 2-run jacks and Randy scoring on an error in the 3rd. 3-1 pitch. High and away, and a good at-bat here for Patrick Wisdom. You know, I was going to be happy with him getting a single and a walk, but he ends up, showing out and getting a 2-run jack and a walk. Great successful day filling in for Josh Naylor due to back spasms. And again, we may see Naylor later today pinch hit, but they'll probably wait until tomorrow. He is listed day to day, Josh Naylor. Next up is Johnny Pareda. Let's go, Johnny. First pitch to Pareda is high and away there from Jonah Tong. 1-0 count. Yeah, I haven't seen any pitcher on the Mariners, go 7, pitches in a row with the same pitch. That was a first. And I'm always paying attention, what pitches, the speed, the location. I got to be a stat nerd out there for all the people that are watching along and for the people that don't have access to the game. I got to be able to paint the picture, the best that I can, especially if people are watching me and they don't have access to Mariners TV or the game. 2-0 pitch from Tong, right down the middle for a strike. Cutter there from Tong. We haven't seen that in a minute. 90 mile an hour. Cutter by Jonah Tong. 2 balls and 1 strike to Johnny Pareda. I would like to see us play a little small ball and bunt at some point before this game is over as well. Yeah, Randy scored on an error in the bottom of the 3rd inning. 2-1 pitch, big swing and a miss right down the middle with the changeup. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Johnny Pareda. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. Bottom of the 4th inning, 3-2 Mariners with a runner at first and no outs. Throw to first, and Wisdom is safe. Wisdom reached first with a walk from Tong, and if we can get a little bit of a mini meltdown or a full meltdown here in the 4th or the 5th, that wouldn't hurt my feelings one bit. Two-two pitch. Whoa! High and inside, almost hits Pareda in the head. He has to dodge out of the way. So we had the Wisdom 2-run blast with Canzone on board in the 2nd inning, 2-0 Mariners. Then Benj hit a 2-run jack with Ewing on board, and then it made it 2-2. And then Randy scored on an error. Rayleigh was safe at first with the fielding error by Vientos, and then Rayleigh was safe at second with the error as well, and Randy ended up scoring. 3-2 pitch, and look at this. The weak link in the lineup, Johnny Pareda, says, hey, I might be the weakest link, but I'm still going to try. And Johnny Pareda with a nice bloop single up the middle. And again, if you're getting good production out of your 2 weak links, Wisdom and Pareda, things are going probably pretty good. And it'll rub off on the other guys as well. Nice job there by Johnny Pareda. So now we got Wisdom at second, Pareda at first. And let's see if Colt Emerson can give us a little bit of magic and hit a 3-run jack or get an RBI so we can go up either 6-2, 5-2, or 4-2. Let's go, Colt. And it definitely feels like we definitely got that, emotional lift when we ended up calling up Colt Emerson. And I figured we would. And we're going to get another emotional lift once we get Donnie and Cal back. And then a slight emotional lift when we get Vargas in the bullpen for the very first time this year, and Miles Mastroboni being a platoon player like Victor Robles. They won't be playing all the time, but it'll be nice to have a little bit more depth on the team. Bottom of the fourth inning, runners at first and second with no outs. And this is the first time that a meltdown might potentially happen here for the Mets. First pitch to Colt Emerson is high and inside, 1-0 count. He bat flips on everything. If you actually pay attention to Pareda, a single, a double, a triple, normally bat flips are only on home runs for most players, but not for Pareda. He'll bat flip on every hit that he gets. And he's done that all season. Why does he do it? I don't know, but if it makes him feel, a little aura and swagger and gets excited and that helps him the rest of the game, I'm all for it. 1-1 pitch from Tong. And Emerson pops up and out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Tong to Emerson. I hate when the ball gets popped up and the cameraman doesn't follow the ball. Like, I'm just sitting there waiting. Where is it? Is it fair? Is it foul? And then you just kind of have to wait, for the graphic to change or, for the announcer to say something. 1-2 pitch, big swing and a miss. And down goes Emerson. Nasty changeup there after going with a 4-seam and a changeup prior. And that is out number 1. Next up for the Mariners, leadoff hitter until Donnie comes back, shortstop J.P. Crawford. On deck will be Julio Rodriguez. Yeah, and he's not doing it to show up the pitcher or, to show up the other team. It's just something that, he's done. And a hard hit ball towards first. Throw back to the pitcher. Tap on the bag. And that is 2 up and 2 down. Or was that a foul ball? Let's look. And it is foul. I was going to say, is that fair or is that foul? All right, so I'll take a foul ball, obviously, rather than an out. Bottom of the fourth inning, runners at first and second with 1 out. We got Johnny Pareda at first with a little bloop single. Wisdom at second after being walked. And let's see if JP can knock him home. 0-1 pitch from Tong. High and inside. 1 ball and 1 strike from Tong to Crawford. Third on the team in home runs, J.P. Crawford, believe it or not. Obviously, we know Luke Raley, number 1, Julio, number 2, J.P., number 3. And glad to see J.P. isn't really throwing sidearm anymore, and he's not in his head anymore, I don't believe. And the errors have stopped, at least for short term, and hopefully we won't see too many, more. Again, we know, everyone's human, but obviously JP and Julio had the most on the team, and a lot of Julio's were within the first 10 to 15 games and hasn't really had too many since. But JP still once in a while will have an error, which is a little rare, for him, just because he normally is a guy that is, one of our best defenders. So to see, JP and Julio make mistakes, it's a little shocking, but, it is baseball. 1-2 pitch, low and at the knees, 2 balls and 2 strikes from Tong to Crawford. Come on, JP. 2-2 pitch, low and at the knees. But one thing I like about JP, that a lot of people may not recognize unless you're a stat nerd like me and Reflect, he's the most patient player on the team. Based on taking pitches and forcing walks and extending at bats, going to pitch 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He's the best on the team with that. And hopefully he'll continue having success, being patient. 3-2 pitch, high and away. And again, if that's, a few players on the team, they might have swung at that garbage, but not JP Crawford. And again, I can appreciate a patient hitter in the box, and now we got bases loaded for Julio Rodriguez. Let's go, Julio. First pitch, big swing and a miss. Julio was going for the moon. Cutter, 91 miles an hour, high and inside, 0-1 count. Bottom of the fourth inning, 3-2 Mariners, and we have a great opportunity to open this game up and go up 4-2, 5-2, 6-2, or 7-2. 0-1 pitch, hard hit ball by Julio, but it looks like it's going to stay in play and left. Tag up, run. And runner comes home, Patrick Wisdom. And just like that, I'll take it, 4-2 Seattle. Nice job there by Julio Rodriguez. Next up is Randy Orosarina. Nice sack fly there by Julio, getting it deep enough. Here we go. 2 outs and 2 on. Let's see if we can get one more. We don't, need to get super greedy, but again, if someone's going to have a meltdown, we want to make sure we take advantage. So, obviously best case scenario, Randy hits a 3-run blast and we go up 7-2 and more than likely run away with the game, from that point moving forward. But, even just getting an RBI single or RBI double, and getting to 5 would be awesome. See if we can add on at least one more. 1-0 pitch, hard hit ball by Randy, a laser towards third in left field and foul. 1 ball and 1 strike from Jonah Tong to Randy Orosarina. The 1-1 pitch, high and inside. 2 balls and 1 strike from Tong to Orosarina. And there's a few like nerd, MLB nerd websites that go over every stat you could possibly think of. And I usually go through those every day. I'm not only looking at, MLB.com and ESPN for the standings and, obviously the plus minus and where we're sitting, but, being able to look a little bit above and beyond. And again, JP has been very, very patient in the box. 2-1 pitch, big swing and a miss right down the middle. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Tong to Orosarina. There's a lot of reading and film study that goes involved with this job. So since I am full-time, everyone just sees what I do on screen, but people don't see what I do off screen. And there's a lot that's done. 2-2 pitch, high and away. Cutter 92 miles an hour. Count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes with runners at first and second and 2 outs. Bottom of the 4th inning, 4-2 Seattle. I mean, we're fanatics for a reason here. 3-2 pitch, a little dribbler towards third and foul. Count still remains 3 balls and 2 strikes with runner at first and second with 2 outs. 4-2 Mariner lead, but we're hungry for a little more. Next pitch will be 30th for Tong this inning. 4 runs, 4 hits, no errors for the Mariners. 2 runs, 2 hits, 2 errors for the Mets. Trident's up. Let's go M's. 3-2 pitch. And Randy with a little blooper. Drop. And it was caught in center field by A.J. Ewing. And then that ends up being out number 3. But on the positive, right, we ended up getting another run on the board. A little bit more insurance because we know, when we have Mooney, come into the game, usually when the game is tied or when we have a 1-run lead, more times than not, he gives up a run. So if we can go up 2 runs or more the rest of the game, it'll give us that a little pocket of insurance. But hopefully we'll end up scoring a few more runs before this is over. I don't think we're done, with a 4-2 score. End of the 4th inning and a productive one. Could have been, a little bit better. We could be up 5-2, 6-2, 7-2, but we just got to be patient and eventually those runs will come. Let's go to the top of the 5th inning and see who's up next here for the Mets. Next up for the Mets in the 7-hole, the former Texas Ranger, second baseman Marcus Semien. Batting second, 1 for 1 with a run in the 8-hole, center fielder A.J. Ewing, who's made some spectacular catches in this series against Seattle. And batting third, 0 for 1 with a K, catcher Hayden Sanger. Trident's up. Let's go M's. All right, 21 subs to go. Do 24,200. Looks like we gained 2 subs since the last commercial break. Appreciate you. 19 subs to go. Do 24,200. We're at 10 on the dono train. 90 to go. And we're at 158 likes. 42 more to get to 200. And anything that we get on the Dono train will help go towards, the vet bills that have to obviously be accounted for. And going to the vet 3 times in roughly a month was not what was on my bingo card. So anything that can be done would be greatly appreciated. Shout out to our female audience and all our new subs, as well as everyone watching in the United States, Canada, Mexico, South America, Asia, and beyond. First pitch to Marcus Semien is popped up. And can Pareda get to it? And it goes out of play. 0-1 count. Yeah, Mizorowski is on a whole nother level. He's really the only, pitcher that can pitch 100 to 104 on a consistent basis, and it won't surprise me that if he cracks 105. It's crazy to say, because you don't even really see a lot of pitchers hit 100 anymore on a consistent basis, either starter or closer. Not everyone is built like a Mizorowski or a Mason Miller as a closer, right? There's a few of them out there, Aroldis Chapman, over the years and a few others, but not a whole lot of guys. But we haven't really seen anybody like Mizorowski ever, and again, he's only going to get better, and hopefully he doesn't throw out his arm with Tommy John or anything like that. But when you throw that kind of velocity, you have to assume Tommy John could happen to someone like Mizorowski or Mason Miller. But hopefully doesn't. I don't want to, wish any injuries on anybody, especially studs in the MLB, even if they're not on our team. 1-2 pitch. Foul tip. Just got a little piece there with the splitter. 80 miles an hour. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Marcus Semien. Yeah, isn't that incredible? 1 run, 57 Ks in all of May. Just incredible. And it'll be amazing if he can end up hitting that 105 number and beyond. It'll definitely be something that even the experts didn't see coming. 1-2 pitch. Low and away. That one goes away from Pareda and goes back to the backstop there. Luckily, nobody on board to advance from first to second. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Marcus Semien. Yeah, but not everyone that has got lightning in the arm, will have Tommy John or a season-ending injury. And that one gets fouled off Pareda. Hopefully he's okay. He rolls on the ground and takes a foul tip. I assume somewhere where there is no padding, and he is hurt. Hopefully he's okay. Now we have the trainers coming up to him. Looks like he took a baseball into the inner thigh growing area. That can't feel good. But, look at like Nolan Ryan, he might be an alien, just like, some of these players that we see today, just kind of out of this world, like Wemby and the Spurs, but Nolan Ryan, pitched from 1968 to, 93, pitched in 4 different decades and really didn't have any major injuries, starting it off with the Mets in 68 and then to the California Angels. And then obviously most people remember him, obviously on the Houston Astros in the 80s and at the end of his career with the Rangers in the 90s. But definitely a phenom in Mizorowski for sure. And now they're taking some time to make sure Pareda is okay here. And it's been kind of a trend where we've actually had a lot of baseballs getting deflected, by our own hitters, hitting themselves, but also the opposing hitter, getting a little piece of a ball and then having it, deflect into the catcher or the ump. And we've seen that quite often, this season in 2026. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. Top of the 5th inning, 4-2 Seattle. Gilbert on the mound, Pareda just trying to get settled in here back at catcher. We had Wisdom with a 2-run jack early on, 2-0 Mariners. Benj with a 2-run jack to match, making it 2-2. Rosarina scoring on an error there, obviously in the bottom of the 3rd, making it 3-2. And then Julio with a sac fly. Wisdom scoring from 3rd with bases loaded, making it 4-2 here in the top of the 5th. 2-2 pitch. And Semien with a hard hit ball into deep left field. Randy Rosarina is there, and that is 1 up and 1 down. Next up in the 8-hole, center fielder A.J. Ewing. Let's go, Logan. Finish strong, my guy. 70 pitches with 7 Ks and no walks. I love that. First pitch in there to Ewing. Change up right down the middle, 86 miles an hour, 0-1 count. Oh, 1 pitch, big swing and a miss by A.J. Ewing. 1 strike away from his 8th punch out of the game. Would be awesome if we can get Logan to 10 before he exits. It looks like he'll go all of the 5th and probably all of the 6th. And that'll probably be when he gets pulled. And hopefully we have some, strategic bullpen options. 0-2 pitch, low and at the knees. Bounces off Paredes' gear and into the dirt. Splitter 82 miles an hour missing by Gilbert. 1 ball and 2 strikes to A.J. Ewing. One-two pitch from Gilbert. Popped up. And out of play. Slider 85 miles an hour there by Logan. 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and 1 out. Top of the 5th inning, 4-2 Mariners. We're on a 7-game win streak, number 1 in MLB. Number 2 is 4-game win streak by the Rangers. And again, it feels good. We've been very patient to get to this point, and I'm very happy that we were able to go on this win streak. 1-2 pitch, big swing and a miss, and that's his 8th punch out for Logan Gilbert. But I'm really happy we're able to go on this win streak, without Cal and Donnie. Really shows the depth of this team when we come together and when things are going our way with Uncle Mo and that momentum. Nice job there by Logan Gilbert. 8 punch outs. Let's see if we can get 2 more, before he ends up exiting. Next up for the Mariners and Logan Gilbert will be in the 9-hole, catcher Hayden Singer. First pitch to Singer, right down the middle. Big swing and a miss with the 4-seam fastball. 94 miles an hour, 0-1 count. I like what I've seen from Gilbert today. Just had 1 bad pitch down the middle that Benj hit the 2-run jack on. But other than that 1 pitch, he's been magnificent. Hasn't really got himself in a jam all day. Hasn't walked anybody either. And that's a good sign of Gilbert trending, back to being, on that level of Hancock, Miller, and Wu. And obviously we know that, Kirby has taken a little bit of a step back. Castillo is completely untrustworthy, and we know Mooney is untrustworthy as well, but we just have to pray that they can at least be decent, not necessarily even good, but at least be like average, and that would definitely help a hell of a lot. 0-2 pitch, high and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Gilbert to Singer. One-two pitch, popped up behind the plate to the T-Mobile bricks. 4-seam fastball, 96 miles an hour there by Logan Gilbert. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Gilbert to Singer. Tom in the building, what's good? 1-2 pitch. Big. Oh, did he get? Oh, just got a little piece of it. I was about to say that's punch out number 9, but just a little foul tip there by Singer. 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and 2 outs. Top of the 5th inning, 4-2 Seattle. Heat wave here in the Pacific Northwest, 90 today. Not what I was expecting. 1-2 pitch. Popped up behind the plate and out of play. 4-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Gilbert to Singer. Come on, Logan. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. 1-2 pitch from Gilbert. Low and away. Good defense there by Pareda. Splitter 81 miles an hour there by Gilbert. Low and away. 2 balls, 2 strikes from Gilbert to Singer. Two pitch. Little dribbler towards third. Emerson is there. Throw to first. Wisdom. And just in time. 3 up and 3 down. And let's go to the bottom of the 5th, and let's see if we can score a couple more runs. It's great when you can actually see, the pitching, coming together, the hitting is coming together, the defense is coming together. We still have some issues with the bullpen from time to time, but 3 out of 4 is exactly what we want. Sometimes we get 0 out of 4. So, for starting pitching, bullpen, hitting, and defense, it's pretty tough for all those things to line up, but so far so good, especially in this 7-game win streak, and we're hungry for win number 8 in a row. Riz is loving it, and we dedicate every stream to the icon and the legend, Rick Riz. All right, let's see who's up next here on Lou Gehrig Day, and let's see if we can make Lou proud. Let's see who's up next here for Seattle. Next up for the Mariners, in the 4-hole today, right fielder 0 for 2, Luke Raley. Let's see if Luke can get a nuke. Batting second, 0 for 2 in the 5-hole, second baseman Cole Clutch Young, the hero last night. And batting third, 1 for 2 with a run, DHing in the 6-hole, the Italian stallion, Dominic Canzone. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. 19 subs to go to 24,200. We're approaching 6 million views on the channel here in a few days. Looks like we gain a couple more subs, 2 more. Appreciate you. 17 subs to go now to 24,200. We're at 10 on the dono train, 90 to go. And every dollar that will come to the dono train will help out with those vet bills. And it'll be greatly appreciated. And we're at 180 likes, 20 more to 200. Come on, Luke. I would rather see Ferrer at closer than Mooney, but then, what does that leave for Mooney? Just benching him altogether or having him pitch in the 8th inning only, and whatnot. But, knowing Dan Wilson, he kind of does things his way. And I don't think the only way you see Ferrer or someone else, as a closer, whether it's short term or long term, is if Mooney gets hurt. And then they would have to, make the change. But if he doesn't get hurt, even with him playing poorly, I don't think they're going to make a change, which is not really smart. But, that's Dan for you. 0-2 pitch. Little dribbler towards first base and foul. But I don't really have a whole lot of faith in Castillo. I don't have a whole lot of faith in Mooney this year. But again, hopefully we're surprised and they get better. But, don't hold your breath. I would, wish to be as optimistic as you reflect, but again, we're already a third of the way through the season, though. Big swing and a miss, and that is 1 up and 1 down. Down goes Luke. Now if he's struggling in the first 10, 15 games, and then okay, maybe he'll get it. But I mean, you got to think where we're at right now, game wise. We're 60 plus games in, at a 162 game season. We'll see. I hope so. But for me personally, I don't really believe in either one, Castillo or Mooney. But we have other options. But hopefully, for their sake and the Mariners' sake and the fans' sake, that they turn it around. 1-0 pitch with a hard hit ball there by Cole Young. Run, Cole! And just in time. There we go. No throw to first. And a hard hit ball there by Cole Young. And a beautiful single. And a hard ball there for Mark Vientos to handle. And Cole Young with another single, getting his first hit of the day. Nice job, Cole. Next up in the 6-hole, DHing Dominic Canzone. I mean, anytime you have a closer or a starter with an ERA of 6 for a majority of the season, and that's what both guys have had for a majority, and not ideal. And Dominic Canzone with a little dribbler that goes into right. And there, a strong throw back into the infield, and Cole Young doesn't take any chances. And now we have runners at first and second with one out. Nice job there by Dominic Canzone, getting a hold of a little dribbler and a nice follow-through swing that gets right in between the gap. No chance there for Vientos or for Simeon. And now let's see if Patrick Wisdom can give us another home run or a big RBI here. First pitch fouled out of play there by Patrick Wisdom. 0-1 count. Bottom of the fifth inning, runners at first and second with one out. Mariners up by 2, 4-2. With runners at first and second and one out. And Patrick Wisdom in the box. Jonah Tong on the mound. And a little dribbler to Simeon. Throw to Vientos just in time. And that is 2 away, but the runners advance to second and third. So now we got a good opportunity for an RBI for Johnny Pereda. And obviously we know we don't really expect a whole lot out of Wisdom and Pereda, but they both exceeded expectations already. And let's see if Johnny can end up, getting Cole and Dominic Canzone home here. Come on, Johnny. Let's go, Pereda. We want to see another bat flip. First pitch is high and inside to Pereda, 1-0 count. Yeah, agreed. Definitely need the depth, and we'll have Carlos Vargas back, and I don't know what he'll look like, and we did have him close a few games last year as well. But, we have a number of bodies that potentially could, right? Brash could, Jose Ferrer could, Spire could, if needed, right? So, we have 3 or 4 guys that could close instead of Mooney, but it'll only happen if he gets hurt. 1-1 pitch, popped up and out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Tong to Pereda. And it's one thing, if he's not getting any strikeouts, but we're still keeping the score tied. But the problem with Mooney is that he's giving up runs almost every time he's out there. When the game is tied 2-2, then we get down 3-2, or when we're up 3-2, and then the game ends up being tied 3-3, and then we have to rely on our bats to win it in the bottom of the 9th or in the 10th, 11th, or 12th. So, would be nice to have a closer that we could, fucking trust. And I think it's not only the slider grip that's off. I think he's in his head. It's mental as well. Pitch fouled off there by Pereda. Right down the middle, four-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour. 1-2 pitch from Tong to Pereda. Come on, Johnny. 1-2 pitch, hard hit ball, fading into right field, out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes with runners at second and third and 2 outs. Gilbert's at 83 pitches, so he'll go 1 more inning. And hopefully he'll get double-digit Ks as well before he exits. 1-2 pitch, popped up and out of play again. Cutter in 94 miles an hour there by Jonah Tong. 1 ball and 2 strikes with runners at second and third and 2 outs. Bottom of the 5th, 4-2 Seattle. Trident's up. Let's go M's. One-two pitch, low and at the knees. Nice defense there by Sanger. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Tong to Pereda. And, there's certain individuals, that you can just tell are going to be, pleasant. And they're going to be likable, like Rick Riz. There's not going to be anyone on planet Earth that has a bad word about Rick Riz ever. A true class act, an icon, and a legend. That's very cool. Two-two pitch. And just gets a piece of that as it flies into right field, out of play. Long at bat here for Johnny Pereda. That was pitch number 8. Next up will be pitch number 9 with Canzone at second and Young at third. Too bad there is 2 outs, not 1. I would just say have him bunt, and see what happens. But, you're not going to bunt with 2 outs. 2-2 pitch. Hard hit ball, deep left field, back, gone! Johnny Pareda. Let's go. It's the Wisdom Pareda game. And again, our two weakest links in the lineup end up being our two biggest strengths. Let's go. Hell yeah. Let's fucking go. We are locked in, baby. Johnny Pareda. And again, Wisdom with a 2-run jack. Johnny Pareda with a 3-run bomb. Are you kidding me? Let's go. 8-game win streak. We're just a few innings away. And then obviously if we win this and George Kirby pitches well, that'll be 9 games in a row with 3 straight sweeps potentially against the A's, the Diamondbacks, and the Mets. Let's fucking go. Next up is the Tigers on the road. So, this team is hot. The hottest team in baseball. You're looking at it. It's the Seattle Mariners. And I'm glad that we can say that here on the channel, because at the beginning of the year, it did not go well. We were the worst hitting team in baseball before we ended up getting the sweep, aka the mop, and winning 4 games in a row against the Astros. And we've had a few turning points, Brian Wu giving up, 7 runs in the first, 3 innings, and then us coming back and winning that game 11-9 was another turning point. But again, the A's series, when we swept them, that was the best ball we played up to this point. And then we carried that momentum over and swept the Diamondbacks, and we're carrying that momentum over here now against the New York Mets. Fucking A, baby. And a bunt attempt. You ask for a bunt, and now you get one. And did it roll foul? It looks like, did it roll foul? I think it rolled foul. Or did it end up staying fair? Oh, it does. It did stay fair. There we go. That's, it's kind of creeps me out, with the ESP, and whatnot about the certain things that we'll talk about on the channel. And then all of a sudden it'll happen moments later. Great job there. I couldn't really see initially. I was looking away. I didn't know if that was closer to third base, but that was actually closer to the pitcher rather than third base. So easily a fair ball. Nice job with the bunt there by Colt Emerson. You just never know with this team. First pitch to J.P. Crawford, fouls that one off, 0-1 count. Just amazing that we're able to get on this big win streak without Cal. But he did take some pitches today, and he wore the gear again yesterday and today. But we're doing it without Cal and Donnie, and we'll get Mastroboni and Vargas back soon as well. 0-1 pitch, fouled off, high and away. No balls and 2 strikes from Tong to Crawford. So it looks like changing the pitchers out within the first 2 innings for the Mets has not worked. And we'll see if they do it again tomorrow when they face George Kirby. 0-2 pitch, high and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes to J.P. Crawford. Pitching has been amazing. Defense, amazing. The bats are coming alive, amazing. And even the bullpen, it has been, a little hit or miss at times, but everything looking Tridents up. Throw to first, and Emerson is safe. And if you look at our plus minus, we're number 2 in the American League. The only team that's got more plus minus, based off, how many runs we've scored and how many runs we've allowed is the Yankees. Even though the Rays have a great record, our plus minus is actually better. And a hard hit ball by JP goes into right field, and a beautiful catch out there in right. And that is finally out number 3. Nice catch out there by Carson Benj. I was hoping that JP could maybe get another big hit for us, but that is out number 3. Man, and again, when you end up getting great production out of your 2 weakest links in the lineup, Patrick Wisdom, he's just filling in, because Josh Naylor got back spasms after hitting the home run last night and tying that game up for us 2-2. If Naylor doesn't hit that home run, we lose that game 2-1 more than likely. And Wisdom comes up with a 2-run jack early in the game in the bottom of the 2nd inning. And then Johnny Pareda, of all people, hitting a 3-run jack with Cole Young at 3rd and Dom at 2nd. Beautiful baseball, and we love it. 7-2 Seattle. Let's go to the top of the 6th and see who's up next here for the Mets. Next up for the Mets, 1 for 2 with a run, 2 RBIs and a K. Right fielder Carson Benj. Batting second, 0 for 1, shortstop, the former Blue Jay, Bo Bichette. And batting third, 0 for 2 with a K, left fielder, Juan Soto. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Rick Riz is loving it. 7 runs, 8 hits, no errors, and we are 3 innings away from our 8th win in a row. Man, it feels good. Keep it going. It's not over yet, because obviously we know meltdowns can happen. But again, we're in firm control, up by 5. And, I don't want to get too greedy, but I would love for us to get to double digits if we can. I mean, we're already at 7, so if we can get 2 or 3 more runs would be awesome. All right, Logan Gilbert is at 83 pitches, 57 strikes, 3.68 ERA, 5 innings pitched, 2 hits, 2 earned runs, no walks, and 8 Ks. So if he can get 2 punch outs out of 3 batters, he'll be at 10. But even if he ends up just getting 9, that'll be a solid outing. And that was the most that he's had this year is 9, and he ended up losing that outing. So if he gets 9 again or 10, we want to make sure we get him the dub here. 1-0 pitch. Popped up. Deep right field. Is that going to go yard? And gone. Wow. Logan Gilbert giving up another home run. I didn't see that coming. And Benj with 2 home runs in this game. He had 1 in the 3rd, a 2-run jack with Ewing on board, and hits another one. Benj trying to, keep the team somewhat close. 399 feet to center. And hopefully that'll be the last run that Gilbert gives up. Next up is Bo Bichette. Yeah, it also helps that we've scored more runs lately, instead of just being at, 0 or 1 or 2, and that definitely helps, Mooney's cause. So even though the stats, say, on paper, it looks good, but for us watching him, game in and game out when he gets out there, I don't know. I just still don't have a whole lot of confidence in him or with Castillo. 0-1 pitch, high and away, 1 ball and 1 strike to Bo Bichette. 1-1 pitch, popped up. Should be a routine play here for Julio in center. And has to make a little bit of a running start, but makes the catch. That is 1 up and 1 down. Great job in there with the no-fly zone. Nice job by Julio Rodriguez. Next up in the 3-hole, left fielder Juan Soto. First pitch right down the middle for a strike to Juan Soto with the changeup, 0-1 count. Top of the 6th inning, 7-3 Mariners with nobody on and 1 out. I mean, I'm going to be going on the 4th of July. That'll be the only game I go to this year with my best friend Justin. But I don't know. It kind of just depends on what I see. They are doing a bucket hat giveaway. Not sure what it's going to look like and whatnot. But usually the hats have been pretty decent, from the giveaways from the Mariners. And, we'll see if they have anything 50th anniversary that would be worth picking up or not. 1-1 pitch. And a hard hit ball by Soto ends up getting past Cole Young, rolling to Luke Raley, and Soto with a single. And Juan really hasn't done a whole lot in the series so far, but you can't really ever count him out. First pitch is low and at the knees to Young, 1-0 count. Top of the 6th inning, runner at first with 1 out, 7-3 Seattle. Big swing and a miss right down the middle with the slider, 86 miles an hour, 1 ball and 1 strike with a runner at first and 1 out. Top of the 6th inning, Mariners up by 4, 7-3. 1-1 pitch, little dribbler towards first base and foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes with a runner at first and 1 out, 7-3 Mariners. Gilbert on the mound, Young in the box. Yeah, I disagree with you, Flight, that the Rays are frauds. Just because they're not good every year doesn't mean that they're not good this year. If you've actually watched them play and look at their win-loss record at home and on the road, they're legit this year. They got a good team. You don't get that type of record without being a good team, especially in this era of 2026 MLB baseball. So just because they weren't good last year doesn't mean they can't be good this year. Same thing with the White Sox, right? Normally not a good team, usually one of the worst in baseball, but Munetaka Murakami gave them an identity, even though he's on the IL with the hamstring. But, anytime you can end up bringing in a player from Japan or anywhere, and they can end up getting you fucking 20 homers, and giving you good momentum to the rest of the squad, like Miguel Vargas and a few others like Colson Montgomery, you're definitely seeing, a few teams that normally aren't really that good, that are starting to play pretty good ball this year. I wouldn't be shocked one bit, if the Rays, do some damage, as well as the White Sox maybe making the playoffs this year. I mean, we still got a little ways to go, but, both teams look pretty good, compared to what they used to be. 3-2 pitch, fouled off right down the middle with the slider. Count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Gilbert to Young. Minnie in the building. How are you? Hopefully you made a decent amount of tips. Obviously with the NBA Finals and the NHL Stanley Cup, it'll be busy for you, like we mentioned yesterday. 3-2 pitch, fouled off. Count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Gilbert to Young. We looked it up a few days ago. Paisley's in the room now, checking out the game. About Ben Williamson and then Harry Ford, obviously, not really getting a whole lot of opportunities, more in the AAA system there for the Nats and whatnot. So, and Gilbert with the walk to Young, and that might be it now for Logan Gilbert. Dan Wilson making his way out, and that was pitch number 98. So 8 Ks. He wasn't able to get to 9 or 10, unfortunately, and ended up giving up another home run to Benj, but we still got a 4-run lead. And overall, pitchers are going to typically give up 1 to 3. And a lot of times we're going to be more critical of the Mariners because normally we don't have 7 runs. A lot of times we don't even get to 4 or 5. We usually have 3 or less. But in this, obviously, 7-game win streak, the production has gone up. And when you end up getting more runs, sometimes the mistakes that are, happening, it's not as big of a deal, especially when you can produce, some offense, even though we are going to be able to, call a spade when things are going sideways. All right, let's see who they decide to bring in here. We got a pitching change. Next up is Mark Vientos with 1 out with runners at first and second. Well, it doesn't matter if they're behind the Yankees, just the simple fact that they have the record that they do. You got to give credit where credit is due. Just because you don't like them and just because they're traditionally not very good doesn't mean that they won't be good this year. You got to have an open mind. It's just like in the NFL, you get teams that go from worst to first, right? You don't get the same teams every year. Obviously sometimes in baseball, you can count on the Yankees being good and the Dodgers being good more times than not. But for everyone else, it definitely will be an up and down challenge. You're going to have peaks and valleys. All right, Edward Bizardo is coming in, and hopefully Bizardo will be the good Bizardo, not the bad. All right, Bizardo, we need a good outing out of you. 5.1 innings pitched, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, 8 strikeouts, 1 walk, 99 pitches. As we see him next to Cal there in the dugout. Great to see Cal with the team and obviously taking some reps at catcher today and yesterday. And a little dribbler up the middle, throw to second, double play, got him! Beautiful double play by the Mariners. And great job, Eduard Bizardo, 1 pitch that leads to a double play. Great job, Seattle. All right, let's go to the bottom of the 6th inning, and let's see if we can get a run to make up for the home run that Benj got on us moments ago. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. Next up for the Mariners, 0 for 2 with an RBI and a K, center fielder Julio Rodriguez. Batting second, 0 for 3 with a run, left fielder Randy Arozarena. Batting third, 0 for 3 with a K, right fielder Luke Raley. Trident's up, let's go M's. Gained 3 more subs since the last commercial break. 14 subs to go to 24,200. We're at 10 on the dono train, 90 to go. And we have 347 in the room. Where are we at? How close to 200 are we? We're at 195. We're right there on the doorstep. So if we can get 5 people out of the 345 in the room to hit the like button, we'll be at 200 and beyond. And we've been consistently getting, in the high 100s, in the mid 200s, and we even hit over 300 yesterday. Mando with a tour, appreciate you. Every dollar counts, especially going to the vet 3 times in about a month. So anything that can help out, pay for medicine and just the vet bills themselves would be greatly appreciated. Trident's up. Let's go M's. We're at 1288 to go. Appreciate you. Shout out to Mando and Reflect. See if we get a few other individuals to help out there as well. And Perez is coming in. First pitch from Perez to Julio with a slurve ball, slider curve, 1-0 count. 85 miles an hour there by Perez. 1-0 pitch in there for a strike to Julio Rodriguez. Slurve ball again, slider curve combo, which has become a little bit more popular within the last 2 years in the MLB. 1-1 pitch from Perez. Julio pops it up a mile. Deep left field, back, gone! And Julio Rodriguez decides to be able to get a home run, to get that home run back from Carson Benj. Julio staying hot, had 10 home runs in May, broke a record for the most home runs in a single month. And Julio getting the party started here with another home run, 8-3 Seattle. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about, baby. It's a home run party. Nice job, Julio. Trident's up, baby. Let's see if Randy Arozarena can continue the dominance. And again, I wanted us to get to 10, and now we're only 2 runs away. Great job, Julio. First pitch with the slurve ball, low and at the knees, 1-0 count. And I'm curious if Perez is only going to be pitching slurve balls the whole time. He hasn't pitched anything besides a slurve so far. Slider curve combo. Okay, there we go. 4-seam fastball. I was going to say, you can't pitch slurve balls the whole time, can you? 1-0 pitch, fouled off, out of play by Randy Arozarena. 4-seam fastball, 97 miles an hour. 1 ball and 1 strike to Randy Arozarena. 1-1 pitch, high and away, curveball 87 miles an hour, 2 balls and 1 strike from Perez to Orosarena. You had a husky. I had a Samoyed purebred when I was growing up, which is kind of like a husky. And, definitely, there's a lot of maintenance involved and, a lot of good memories, pulling me in a sled when I was little and whatnot. And, I tried to be able to make sure that Paisley, ends up having all the love and all the attention that she needs, obviously here while she's with me as my soul dog. 2-2 pitch, low and at the knees with a slurve ball again. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Randy Orosarena. Yeah, Julio Rodriguez Hawks with a home run just moments ago. Rebecca with another 5er. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. And Randy pops up. Deep center field. Back to the warning track. And that is 1 up and 1 down. Randy flies out. Let's see who's up next. It is Luke Rayleigh. Let's go, Luke. See, we get a nuke out of Luke. Little dribbler up the middle by Luke Rayleigh. Throw to first. And great hustle by Luke, even though he's out. But again, hopefully the other players will notice his hustle. That's the way it should be. 2 up and 2 down. And next up is Cole Clutch Young. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. First pitch there from Perez. De Young takes a strike right down the middle. Sinker, 98 miles an hour, 0-1 count. Let's go. 0-1 pitch. Another strike right down the middle looking. Another sinker there by Perez. No balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and 2 outs. Bottom of the 6th inning, 8-3 Seattle. And it's been a while, where again, we still got a few more innings to go, but to, feel comfortable, when you're watching a game instead of like looking up at the scoreboard and thinking, oh God, not again, and we had a lot of games like that prior to this 7-game win streak. And it just feels good that we're on the opposite end. We're not getting our ass kicked anymore. We're actually kicking ass and taking names. And again, if we win this game, which it looks like we will, hopefully Kirby pitches well tomorrow and we can get another sweep. 1-2 pitch. Low and away with a slurve ball. Slider curve combo missing, and Young does not go around. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Perez to Young. Cheney 333 with a $5 dono. Appreciate you. First dono for you on the channel. Appreciate you very much. 2-2 pitch fouled up and out of play. Thank you so much. Over 2 years. Awesome. We gotta love it. Appreciate you. 333 in the building with the $5 holla. Thank you so much for your generosity and your support. Big swing and a miss there for Cole Young, and that is out number 3, but not after Julio Rodriguez. And I didn't know, when he swung at it, it looked like it was just going to be one of those, pop-ups that go up a mile or 2 and then eventually would drop in fair territory in left or center field. But I don't know what the wind conditions are out there, but it definitely carried. And I'm very happy that Julio got the home run back that Logan Gilbert gave up to Benj. And now we have a 5-run lead again. I love it. All right, let's go to the top of the 7th inning and see who's next up here for the Mets. Next up for the Mets, 0 for 2 with a K, third baseman Brett Beatty. Batting second, 0 for 2 with a K, second baseman, the former Texas Ranger Marcus Semien. And batting third, 1 for 2 with a run and a K, center fielder A.J. Ewing. Trident's up, let's go M's. And we assume that Pizzardo is going to come out because he only had 1 pitch and we got the double play. But knowing Dan Wilson, you never really know. Yeah, and I don't think we necessarily fear anyone. I mean, obviously, if we match up against the Yankees in the playoffs, we know that's going to be a war and a battle, and it has been for many, many years, even going back to the 90s, with Griffey and, with other players above and beyond that as well. So, obviously we know that the Yankees are good this year. The Rays are good this year. The Guardians and the White Sox finally got themselves a few games above 500. And then if we can win this game, we can kind of join that same party, as the White Sox and the Guardians, and then eventually, get more wins, than those two teams and get closer to the Yankees and Rays. But we might have to wait, until we get Donnie and Cal back to get to that point. But again, if we win today, 8-game win streak, number one in MLB, with a chance to have 9 tomorrow. We just need to pray that George Kirby pitches well. Last 2 starts have not been good, but maybe tomorrow he'll be able to get back on track. First pitch from Bizzardo to Beatty, fouls it behind the plate, 0-1 count. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. 0-1 pitch, low and away with a sinker, 90 miles an hour, 1 ball and 1 strike from Bizzardo to Beatty. Top of the 7th inning, 8-3 Seattle. 1-1 pitch, takes a strike looking on that corner. Beautiful sinker there, and it's going to be challenged here by Beatty, I believe. Beatty should lose this challenge. Why would you challenge that? Beatty obviously thought it was more inside than it was. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Bizzardo to Beatty. One-two pitch, high and away. Sinker missing there by Bizzardo. 95 miles an hour, high and away, missing it maybe by a half inch or so. 2 balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and no outs. Top of the 7th inning, 8-3 Mariners, 7-game win streak. And we can taste 8 wins in a row here in a few innings. Wow! Oh, he dropped it. I thought Julio came up with that. Julio slid on, one knee. And I thought, wow, did he get that? But it looks like that ball ended up falling out of the glove, or he kind of trapped it with his glove in his body, and it ended up hitting the turf. And Beatty with a single to center, and Julio's hobbling. That's not good. And hopefully he's okay. It looks like it went right underneath the mitt and got caught on the opposite side of the thigh, as well as his foot. So hopefully he's okay. But he's got a little bit of a giddy up in his step there, and hopefully he's all right. First pitch to Marcus Semien from Bizzardo is fouled out of play. 0-1 count. Velasco in the building. What's good? Top of the 7th inning, 8-3 Seattle. Oh, 1 pitch, high and away. 1 ball and 1 strike to Marcus Semien. I imagine there hasn't been too many teams that have gotten back-to-back sweeps, let alone 3 sweeps in a row. So, again, and I let, a lot of the, Mariner fans know early on when things were going bad, eventually things are going to, get better. We're too talented of a squad, just to, roll over and die. We're still going to be one of the best teams in baseball. Just got to be patient. And a big double play there by the Mariners. Beautiful slow dribbler up the middle. JP Young to Wisdom, and that is 2 away. Great double play there. Next up is AJ Ewing. Everything is just perfect. Starting pitching could have been a little bit better, but I mean, this is the Mets, just like any other team that's got a few studs there. You're going to give up, RBIs and home runs here and there. It's not like we expect to win every game 8-0 or 6-0. We know the other team is going to score, but in the past, we weren't able really to match the offense of other teams, and the pitching was going sideways with the defense. But now everything is locked and loaded, and I'm loving, seeing what the Mariners are doing now finally on this win streak. 0-1 pitch, takes a strike high and inside. No balls and 2 strikes to A.J. Ewing. And a little slow dribbler to Wisdom, toe tap on the bag, and that is out number 3. Patrick Wisdom and Johnny Pareda playing fantastic. And again, it's nice also to see, role players. You don't expect anything out of Pareda. You don't expect anything out of Wisdom. You expect nothing out of Garver or Rob Refsnyder. And when they actually do something positive, it really does make a huge difference with this team. All right, let's go to the bottom of the 7th inning, and let's see if we can get to 10 runs before this one is over. Next up for the Mariners, 2 for 3 with 2 runs. In the 6th hole, DHing the Italian stallion, Dominic Canzone. Batting second, 1 for 2 with 2 runs, 2 RBIs, and a walk. With a 2-run jack to get the party started, Patrick Wisdom. And batting third, 2 for 3 with a run with 3 RBIs and a 3-run bomb. Are you kidding me? Johnny Pareda. Trident's up. Let's go M's. 14 subs away from 24,200. And we are approaching 6 million views on the channel. We should hit that in about a week or so, maybe even sooner. And let's see how close we are to hitting 200 likes. We got 358 people in the room. And we're at 216. There we go. Let's see how close we can get to 300 before this one is over. 216 likes, 84 to 300. And we're at 22 on the Dono train, 78 to go. Yeah, Naylor had back spasms. So that's why after he hit the home run, he exited. And then they had Wisdom come in the 8th and the 9th. And then his back was just not feeling right today. So they decided to give him the day off. And if needed, he could potentially come in and pinch hit, but they're going to let him rest. And tomorrow, hopefully, he'll be in the lineup. But if he's not in the lineup tomorrow, then eventually when we end up playing the Tigers on the road, then I assume then he'll be there. But hopefully Naylor will be in the lineup. But again, Wisdom, stepping up in his absence and has done a great job. So it's not like we haven't got anything from the first baseman, Patrick Wisdom, today. Definitely has done an exceptional job, just like Johnny Pareda at catcher today as well. How many third-string catchers can hit a 3-run bomb in the MLB? Not many. First pitch from Perez to Canzone, takes a strike looking low and away, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch. Did he go around? Yes, he did. And interesting to see Dan Wilson not taking out, Luke Raley and Dominic Canzone in certain games now. Normally when they would go from a righty to a lefty, usually you're, seeing certain switches, Refsnyder, Robles, and, certain guys. But, now within the last, few games, as Canzone gets another hit, and that's the reason why you want to keep guys like Raley and Canzone in when they're hitting well, instead of just subbing someone in like Rob Refsnyder, swinging 3 times and striking out. You want to keep guys that are hot in the game. And great job there by Dominic Canzone. And a 3-for-4 day for Dom. I mean, if they would have substituted Refsnyder, it's not like he more than likely wouldn't have gotten a hit. But you never know. I mean, Wisdom has a 2-run jack today. Pareda's got a 3-run bomb, but Refsnyder is obviously our worst hitter on the team. I wouldn't mind seeing Victor Robles at some point, but, they're using him, kind of sparingly at this point. And I imagine Miles Mastroboni, when he comes back, will be used just once in a while as well. First pitch from Perez to Wisdom with the slurve ball, low and at the knees, 86 miles an hour, 1-0 count. Big swing and a miss there by Wisdom on the slurve ball again, low and at the knees, slider curve combo, 85 miles an hour again by Perez. 1 ball and 1 strike to Patrick Wisdom. 1-1 pitch. Big swing and a miss, low and away. Slurve ball again. Slider curve combo, 87 miles an hour this time around. 1 ball and 2 strikes with a runner at first and no outs. Bottom of the 7th. 8-3 Mariners. Tridents up. Let's go M's. One-two pitch. Low and at the knees. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Patrick Wisdom. And again, calling games and watching games as a fan, obviously much better, in this 7-game win streak, potentially going to be 8 here in a couple more innings, as long as we hang on, rather than what we saw at the beginning of the season, which was very hard to watch. 2-2 pitch, and that is strike 3 looking. And down goes Patrick Wisdom, but he's already done his job and some, and that is 1 away. And we're doing it all here on Lou Gehrig Day. Next up in the 8-hole, catcher Johnny Pareda. 2 for 3 with a run and 3 RBIs. Had a 3-run jack in the bottom of the 5th. And let's see if he can get one more hit. Already a spectacular day for Johnny Pareda. Loves to bat flip on anything. Single, double, triple. It's not just home runs. And I'm not sure if that's something that he's done in his whole career, but he's done it here on the Mariners. 0-1 pitch, fouls that one off. He definitely has a certain type of swagger. I remember him obviously when he was on the Athletics, and he's kind of bounced around from a few teams and whatnot. And if you remember, in the offseason, we signed Andrew Kisner, but then we decided to go obviously with Pareda and Garver as the backups. And obviously we traded Harry Ford for Jose Ferrer. And Harry is getting more time in AAA than he is on the Nats. And we obviously need bullpen help. So Jose Ferrer was obviously a good trade, even though we all loved Harry Ford. 0-2 pitch, big swing and a miss. And down goes Pareda on the slurve ball. And that is 2 up and 2 down. Next up, one of my favorite players on the team, Colt Emerson. 2 for 3 with a K, and he even got on with a bunt in his last at-bat. First pitch, little dribbler up the middle, routine play from Simeon, throw to first to Vientos, and that is out, number 3. Unfortunately, not another hit there for Colt Emerson, and that is the end of the 7th inning with a Mariner 5-run lead. That feels great to say, instead of being down by 5. And let's go to the top of the 8th, and let's see if we can continue our dominance in this game. Next up in the top of the 8th, 0 for 2 with a K, catcher in the 9-hole, Hayden Singer. Batting second, the MVP for the Mets today with 2 home runs, 2 for 3, 2 runs, 2 blasts, 3 RBIs, and a K, Carson Benj. I mean, if it wasn't for Benj, they would be at 0. So obviously he's been the guy here today. And then batting third, 0 for 2, the former Toronto Blue Jay, Bo Bichette. End of the 7th inning, 8-3 Seattle. 14 subs away from 24,200. Let's see if we've gained a few more likes. See if we can get as close to 300 before this game ends. And we're at 225. Good start. $75 more to get to 200. No bat flips on walks that from my memory, only on hits, but that would be hilarious, David, if he, I mean, actually it would probably cause, some ruffling the feathers and whatnot, if you're going to be doing it off walks, or if he gets hit by a pitch and he does it again, then at that point, that might cause a brawl or some words to be exchanged and whatnot, like we're trying to show them up or whatever, but we got Cooper Criswell coming in. But it's under no means of him trying to show off necessarily. It's just, I guess it's what he wants to do. All right, Cooper Criswell coming into the game now here in the top of the 8th. And MJ Melendez coming into the game as well. Pitch hitting for the Mets. Wow, line drive to third, throw to first, got him. Colt Emerson, are you kidding me? I was trying to pull up the MJ Melendez photo just in time, and a line drive, and look at the diving attempt there by Colt Emerson. And again, we got, not only a great defender at second base, but we got one at third with Colt Emerson. And when he ends up taking over JP's spot, his natural position at short, you're going to see a lot of magic, right up the middle with Cole Young and Colt Emerson side by side. There's not going to be a whole lot that's going to get through. And again, great defense there. Next up is Carson Bench. First pitch is high and away with the changeup, 84 miles an hour, 1-0 count. Judah in the building. What's good? 1-0 pitch, high and away. 2 balls and no strikes from Criswell to Bench. 2-0 pitch. Another ball there from Cooper. This time high and inside with the cutter, 87 miles an hour. 3 balls and no strikes from Criswell to Bench. 3-0 pitch, and that is a 4-pitch walk. That is not ideal. Come on, Cooper. We got a 5-run lead. We want to keep it that way. Now we might need to get a double play to bail him out here. Next up in the 2-hole shortstop, Bo Bichette. And that is definitely a batter that could potentially hit into a double play for us. First pitch takes a strike, looking high and inside with a sinker, 90 miles an hour, 0-1 count. We talked about it briefly yesterday. We already knew with the Rossini scandal, with Vrabel and everything else that eventually, they've been looking at him for years. So for A.J. Brown to go to the Pats, I don't think anyone is surprised by that. But the Jared Verse or Myles Garrett trade, that was huge. And who knows, Aaron Donald may come out of retirement. At first it was kind of a joke, but it wouldn't shock me one bit. Donald has only been out a few years and, he's still in amazing shape. I mean, the guy works out like The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, like every fucking day. So, I mean, can you imagine Aaron Donald and Myles Garrett together? But obviously a lot of these moves are, somewhat due to what the Seahawks have done in the last few years, especially last year, and trying to get back on top with Sean McVay. And we'll see what Myles Garrett will do in a Ram uniform. And obviously for Jared Verse, it kind of stinks as Bichette strikes out swinging, and that is 2 away. But Jared Verse is from Ohio, so he actually comes back, home. He's a younger version of Myles Garrett, who's a little bit older. But again, to go from LA to Cleveland, that's not ideal. Obviously going from Cleveland to LA, we know Myles Garrett is, he's thinking to himself, man, I actually have a chance to, maybe win a Super Bowl or get to one. And we'll see how that all plays out, for the Patriots with A.J. Brown, Myles Garrett with the Rams, and Jared Verse with the Cleveland Browns. And obviously they got a lot of draft picks on top of Verse as well. So first pitch from Criswell to Soto, takes a strike, looking right down the middle, 0-1 count. And I know there was a few other teams that were looking, at Myles Garrett, like the Eagles, but they didn't want to give up Jalen Carter and a few other individuals, so I get it, but we'll see how it all plays out. NFC West will be very interesting, and especially with the Niners adding Mike Evans, so there's going to be some new faces, a few departures, obviously with Kenneth Walker III moving on from Seattle, and, we'll see how it all kind of plays out. Obviously, the thing that we know for sure is that the Cardinals more than likely will still be little brother in that division, but hopefully they'll end up being slightly better. Pitch popped up there by Soto. Cole Young is there, and that is 3 up and 3 down. But the NFC West will be a lot of fun to watch. Looking forward to calling NFL games this fall. as well as a lot of college football after the MLB season ends. Because primarily that's what we do here. We do baseball during baseball season with the Mariners, and then we do NFL and college football. And then obviously once all of those end, then for a brief month or so, in February and March when we're waiting for baseball to get going, we slightly, do a little Kraken for hockey, a little NBA, little NASCAR, once in a while. But, obviously I would prefer to do baseball and football. Those are going to obviously be my favorites. So, all right, let's go to the bottom of the 8th inning and see who's next up for Seattle. Next up for the Mariners, 0 for 2 with 2 walks and a K, shortstop J.P. Crawford. Batting second, 1 for 3 with a run, 2 RBIs and a K, center fielder Julio Rodriguez. And batting third, 0 for 4 with a run, left fielder Randy Arozarena. Yeah, one thing I'm not looking forward to is the strike next year, because if they end up striking, that's a big part, of the channel here, and again, I don't really have the same feel, and enjoyment for the NHL and the NBA, NASCAR I enjoy and whatnot, but again, I might, depending on how long they go on strike, I might have to, pick up another job, to be able to have some, money come through, just because, the support, other than baseball and football is sometimes hit or miss. Sometimes we can get thousands of views, but then nobody donates, so if I'm doing NBA and I'm doing NHL and I'm doing NASCAR or WWE or something other than football or baseball, I need to get support. And if I don't get that support, then I have to pivot. So, hopefully they'll be able to figure it out. But I know the MLBPA and the owners are really far off. And the last time that we had a big strike, it was almost the whole year. And that was in like 94, 95. And I don't even want to think about the idea of not having baseball for a whole year or 3/4 of the season, being missed because these guys are greedy and they want the money and whatnot. But, hopefully they'll be able to figure it out. And if we do have a stoppage, hopefully it'll only be for like a month or 2 at most, unless they're able to figure it out, before the season starts. But realistically, it'll probably go for a minimum of a couple months. And who knows, it could be the whole year if they keep, not getting on the same page with each other. Not what I wanted to see. 0-1 pitch, low and away, 1 ball and 1 strike from Minter to Crawford. 1-1 pitch, low and away again with the cutter, 2 balls and 1 strike to J.P. Crawford. 2-1 pitch, popped up and out of play. But I really hope that baseball, is going to be on a regular schedule. It's just not ideal. I love it so much. And I just can't imagine not having, baseball next season. But hopefully they'll be able to figure it out. Two pitch. High and away. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to J.P. Crawford. 3-2 pitch, high and inside, and that is ball 4. Next up is Julio Rodriguez, 1 for 3 with a run, 2 RBIs and a K, and had a home run in his last at bat. First pitch from Minter to Rodriguez, high and away, 1-0 count. .1-0 pitch. Julio pops that up and out of play. 1 ball and 1 strike from AJ Minter, the lefty, to Julio Rodriguez. 1-1 pitch. Popped up into shallow center field. And that is 1 up and 1 down. Nice catch there by A.J. Ewing. Next up in the 3-hole, left fielder Randy Arozarena. First pitch in there for a strike, 0-1 count. And really the teams that don't want, to accept it are the teams that are, spending all that money, right? Like the Dodgers and the Yankees and the Mets and the Braves. As Randy ends up running out, that throw there from third. Nice job there by Randy Arozarena. I always like seeing Randy hustle. Arozarena reached on an infield single there to the shortstop, JP to second. Now we got runners at first and second with 1 out. Next up is Luke Raley. Nothing would be sweeter than a 3-run bomb here from Luke with a nuke. I'll take an RBI as well. Come on, Raley. Bottom of the 8th, runners at first and second with 1 out. 8-3 Mariners. First pitch, big, swing and a miss. Low and away with a cutter, 88 miles an hour by A.J. Minter, 0-1 count. Minter on the mound, Raley in the box. Oh, 1 pitch, low and away with a cutter missing by Minter. 1 ball and 1 strike to Luke Raley. Emerson's got 2 hits today. 1 hit and a bunt for a hit. So 2 total. One pitch, big swing and a miss. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Minter to Raley. Yeah, but to be fair with Puka, if Puka was on the Seahawks, Seattle fans would love him. That's just how it goes. Again, a lot of times, people care about production, not necessarily if they're a good person on or off the field and whatnot. And definitely he's been in the headlines, not for the right reasons lately, kind of being a knucklehead and whatnot. But no one can deny the fact that he's a good ball player. Bottom of the 8th, runners at first and second with 1 out, 8-3 Seattle. Minter on the mound, Raley in the box. Yeah, we just have to hope when the strike happens, it doesn't end up being the whole year or half the year. Hopefully it ends up only being for, a couple months, if that. 1-2 pitch, big swing and a miss. And that is 2 away. Well, that's what I'm saying. Not everyone hated DK. Obviously, there's going to be people that bought the jersey, and obviously limited on the route tree and, obviously had issues with attitude, but a lot of wide receivers are divas, It's about me, not the team. And, it's not just, Puka and DK. I mean, it's all across the board. There's not too many guys that are, humble, like a Larry Fitzgerald, type of wide receiver, or like a Marvin Harrison, where they don't even spike the ball or dance. They just hand the ball to the ref and walk off. It's, pretty rare to find a humble elite wide receiver nowadays. First pitch from Minter to Young takes a strike, looking right down the middle, 0-1 count. And runners go, and safe, and then out. Damn, JP slid off the bag. And that is out number 3. Too much momentum for JP. Initially safe, and then took his hand off the bag just for a split second based off his momentum. And I don't know if we're going to get a replay here or not. Are we going to get a replay? So it goes in first with the foot. And then And with the tag, yeah, he got him. All right, end of the 8th inning, 8-3 Mariners. All right, let's go to the top of the 9th and see who's up next here for the Mets. Next up for the Mets, 0 for 2 with a base on ball and 2 Ks, DHing Jared Young. Batting second, 0 for 3 in the 5-hole, first baseman Mark Vientos. And batting third in the 6-hole, 1 for 3 with a K, third baseman Brett Beatty. And who will be coming in for the Mariners? Is it going to be Mooney or will it be someone else? We'll find out here in a moment. And we're approaching our 8th win in a row. Someone pinch me. Is this real? Especially based on how the season has gone, up to this point. So. Eight runs, 11 hits, and no errors. I love it. Well, Criswell had 13 pitches. Would they really have Criswell come back out? And we'll see who we get here. Mooney, Ferrer, Gabe Spire. Who's it going to be? $14 subs to go to 24,200. Gained another sub since the last commercial break. Appreciate you. 13 subs to go to 24,200. And they still got Cooper Criswell out on the mound. First pitch from Criswell the Young in there for a strike. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, fouled off into left field, out of play with the changeup. No balls and 2 strikes from Criswell the Young. Oh-2 pitch, low and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Criswell the Young. One-two pitch, big swing and a miss. Nice job there by Cooper Criswell. Down goes Young, and that is 1 away. Nice job there by Cooper. Way to bring the electricity here in the 8th and the 9th. All right, we're 2 outs away from our 8th win in a row. Can you believe it? And we got Peralta and Kirby tomorrow. First pitch to Vientos, fouls that back. Behind the plate with a sweeper, 78 miles an hour. 0-1 count. Oh, 1 pitch in there for a strike. No balls and 2 strikes from Criswell to Vientos. 0-2 pitch from Criswell. Low and at the knees. Count now is 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and 1 out. Top of the 9th inning, Mariners up by 5. And we're moments away from our 8th win in a row. Number 1 in MLB for the hottest team. 1-2 pitch, big swing and a miss. And another punch out there by Cooper Criswell. Andres Munoz could only dream of punching out the first 2 guys, at least at this point in the year. Hopefully he'll be able to do it in the future. Nice job, Cooper. All right, and last but not least, for Cooper Criswell, hopefully, fingers crossed, 6th-hole hitter, third baseman Brett Beatty, who's 1 for 3 with a K today. Let's go. First pitch takes a strike, looking right down the middle, 0-1 count. Oh, 1 pitch. Popped up. And Oh my God. Are you kidding me? Wow. Colt Emerson diving into the wall and getting the last out. You got to be shitting me. But I guess that's Mariner baseball for you. Wow. Way to finish on a high note. Colt Emerson getting the job done on offense and defense. Beautiful. Incredible defense there by Colt Emerson, hitting the wall and still hanging on to that ball. Final score, Seattle Mariners 8, New York Mets 3. We win another series, 8 wins in a row, number 1 in MLB on Lou Gehrig Day, and we're looking for our third sweep in the row tomorrow with George Kirby on the mound. Yes, he's been bad his last 2 starts, but that doesn't mean he'll be bad 3 times in a row. Great job, Mariners. Now let's go over the stats for both teams here momentarily. MVP for the Mets, accounting for all 3 runs. Carson Bench, 2 for 3 with 2 home runs and 3 RBIs. Bo Bichette, 0 for 3. Struggling here with the Mets. Juan Soto, 1 for 4. Jared Young, a home run yesterday, 0 for 3 today. Mark Vientos, 0 for 4. Brett Beatty, 1 for 4. Marcus Semien, 0 for 3. AJ Ewing, 1 for 3 with a run. And Hayden Singer, 0 for 2. And now let's go over the Mariners. JP Crawford, 0 for 2. Obviously got on with a walk as well. Julio Rodriguez, 1 for 4 with 2 ribbies and a home run. Nice job, Julio. Way to get your June off to a good start. Randy Arozarena, 1 for 5 with a run. Luke Raley, a rare 0 for 5. Cole Young, 1 for 4 with a run. Dominic Canzone with a great game, one of the best for him this season, 3 for 4 with 2 runs. Patrick Wisdom, one of the MVPs today, 1 for 3 with 2 RBIs and a home run and 2 runs with a 2-run jack to get us on the board early, 2-0. Johnny Pareda with one of his best games of the year for the Mariners, 2 for 4 with a 3-run jack, 3 ribbies, and a home run. And Colt Emerson, 2 for 4, getting on with a bunt and making that diving grab for out number 3 there here in the bottom of the 9th. Awesome. And then tomorrow's game is on early. It's going to be at 12:40 Pacific with Freddie Peralta on the mound as well as George Kirby. Yeah, it's great to see. Appreciate you. 8 in a row with an $8 dono. Thank you so much. Mooney Boy with an 8er. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate that. Every dollar counts. Oh man, 90-degree day here, and it definitely was very hot in the studio for a good majority of this game. But I'm really thankful that we were able to get the job done. Another 5er there by Turner. Appreciate you. Another $5 holla added on to the donut train. Thank you so much for your love and support to the channel. And 8 wins in a row for the Seattle Mariners on Lou Gehrig Day. I can't believe it, man. Feels so good to be at this point. Rick Rez, he loves it. Everyone loves it in the room. And again, I will be live tomorrow at 12:40 Pacific. Freddie Peralta for the Mets. 3-4 record, 3.55 ERA, and he's a righty, not a lefty, so we should have our strong lefty lineup. Hopefully we have Naylor back tomorrow. And then we got George Kirby, 5-4 record, 3.77 ERA. Obviously had a rough, last 2 starts, but normally Kirby doesn't have 3 bad games in a row. So, and even if he ends up giving up 2 or 3 runs like Gilbert did today, if we can produce more than 5 runs like we have been lately, even if Kirby isn't great, we could still end up winning as long as the offense brings the bats. So looking forward to winning 9 games in a row tomorrow, but 8-game win streak, the hottest team in MLB, the Seattle Mariners, and we are loving it. Final score for the Mariners, you already know what it is. You already know what it is, baby. Feels so good to be able to see us get to this point. Final score, Seattle Mariners 8, New York Mets 3. And I got one question for you. Well, talk sports like us. Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics. Tridents up and go Mariners. Let's go for the triple sweep tomorrow for 9 wins in a row. We swept the A's, we swept the Diamondbacks, and we're hungry to sweep the Mets. I love you guys and I appreciate you guys. And Tridents up and go Mariners.